Welcome to the channel for the huge six-pointer that is Aston Villa versus Tottenham Hotspur. I don't know if you've seen the team news yet, but I just called my mate, Tom, and told him to put 25 quid on Spurs to get beaten by 5 clear goals tonight. Because if you think about it, if you think that it was 2-0 at home to Crystal Palace, and they absolutely ripped us to shreds, well, tonight he's gone with an even weaker team against Aston Villa away in what is going to be party time for Aston Villa. Their last home game of the season. They're chasing the Champions League. I just feel confident they're going to rip us to shreds. And in a weird way, I don't want to be embarrassed as a Spurs fan. I never want to be embarrassed. But the reality is, it doesn't really matter. We're in the Europa League final on Wednesday night. That is all that matters. And so let's see what happens tonight. Obviously, guys, on YouTube, on TikTok, wherever you are, to get involved in the comments. Send your comments in. Sonny is back. He's captain tonight, but here is the team news. Kinski in goal again. Spence at right back. We can only hope that Spence puts in a better shift than he did against Crystal Palace the other day. That was not a good performance. The lesser spotted Sergio Reguilon comes in at left back. I didn't think we'd see him play for Spurs again. The last we saw him was in the training game last week when the cameras were there. And he was on the same team as Brennan Johnson, and he wiped out Brennan Johnson with a slide tackle. So who would have thought that Sergio Reguilon would ever come and play for Spurs again in the Premier League? But he plays tonight alongside Ben Davies and Kevin Danso. They make up the back four. Then in midfield, Archie Gray, after 2 pretty average at best performances in midfield over the last few games. Pat Matassar, he needs a big game tonight, to say the least. Mikey Moore. Now, here is where I'm getting my fingers crossed. I'm desperate for Mikey Moore to play in the 10 tonight. I want him to be given a chance in the 10. However, all the rumours coming out of the training ground are that Son Heung-min has been training in the 10 position. So it'll be interesting to see. So Moore, Son and Odebear, and then Matthias Tell as well. So it could be Son on the left, it could be Moore on the left, or it could be Odebear, or it could be Tell on the left. But Odebear, I'm sure, will be in the right. Although, even then, Odebear did start in the 10 against Crystal Palace and flattered to deceive. On the bench tonight, he hasn't even taken Romero and Van der Ven. So a lot of people were talking this week about how potentially he would want to get some minutes into the legs of some of these players for the final. He's like, nah, can't take a risk on it after what's happened to Maddison and Kulusevski and Bergvall, for instance. So on the bench, Vicario, Bissouma, Richarlison, Solanke, Brennan Johnson, Pedro Porro, Rodrigo Bentancur, and then the kids, Casanova and Oluseyi. For any Villa fans here, welcome. Your team: Martinez, Cash, Matson, Konsa, Torres, Kamara, Onana, Rogers, McGinn, Asensio, Watkins. I've never been so sure that that a match is going to be an absolute steamrollering as I am this one. On the bench for Villa: Dizazi, Mings, Barkley, Digne, Garcia, Marlon, Olsen, Bogard, and Bailey. Listen. How do you feel? Let me know in the comments. How do you feel if you're a Spurs fan? How do you feel about the fact that he's not basically even taken a lot of these players tonight? By which I mean Romero and Van der Ven in particular. How do you feel about it? Stephen Murphy in the comments says, not bothered about the result, all about Wednesday. John Lancaster says, no injuries, best we can hope for. They're probably right. But how would you feel, potentially, if you're a Spurs fan, after tonight, if we get done 9-0? We could, I promise you, and I hope to be proven wrong, obviously, but I promise you, we could get somewhere towards that Southampton figure where they got beaten 9-0, didn't they? A couple of seasons in a row, or 2 out of 3 seasons or something. There are some players who need big games. Pat Matassar is one. Sonny, obviously, he's been injured and out of form for quite a long time. Son Heung-min needs a big game. We need that to happen. But, of course, there are some other interesting points. One is that Richarlison is on the bench. Now, you'd think Richarlison, having come back with it from injury and only really played in the 2 semi-finals against Bodo Glimt, you'd think that he would need minutes today, but he's on the bench, and I think that is because he's going to start on Wednesday night. I think Andy's going to start him ahead of Sonny, and actually, based on how he did in those games, I don't think it's the wrong decision. So that's interesting. I don't want to see Solanke coming on the pitch today. Solanke Van der Ven and Romero, for me, are the three, as well as maybe Porro and Vicario. They are the 3 to 5 players that we literally could not afford to lose based on the injuries we have before Wednesday night already. So they are the ones. Currently just doing a minute's silence for Peter McFarland and Jake Findlay, ex-Aston Villa fans. Guys, if you are watching the game alongside me, I will tell you when the kickoff is and then press pause before then so we're at the same time so that you can get the watch along so that nothing is happening ahead of time. And also, please do keep the comments coming in, guys. But also, if I'm on a little bit of a delay, please wait a little bit until I've seen the goal before writing goal. Although I know that by asking that, basically, it's tempting you all to just be like goal all the time to try and wind me up. In fact, let me see if there's a way of getting rid of some of this. I don't want to get rid of the chat. I love the chat. I'm all about the chat. Let's go into the chat. Coolidge, thank you for your message. Says, should have been playing Reguilon instead of Spence. Coolidge also says, weird that Vicario is not playing. Kevin 40K says, will we see Van der Ven and Romero for like 20 minutes? No, they're not even on the bench, as Coolidge says. Gazaturn says, goal. Exactly. Thank you very much. Excellent work. Dave Bird says, Andy's just trying to prove a point. All eggs in one basket to get silverware to prove a point. Whether he's trying to prove a point or not, does it really matter? All that matters is trying to win the silverware, surely. Anyway, we're about to kick off, guys. So if you are on the comments, try and give me a break. But actually, I found a way to block out the comments. So in breaks of play, I will get around to comments. The game has kicked off. Spurs kicking from right to left first half. It goes to Sergio Reguilon. Let's give him a big cheer. And he goes down the channel with his first ball. And why not? Up to the big man, Sonny. No, it was Matthias Tell, sorry. So I'm just trying to work out the formation at the moment. Oh, and Villa, Kinski comes out of his box and clears it. Good lad. So I'm just trying to work out who's playing where, especially in the forward line at the moment. Kinski's had a haircut, a bit of a step and a fade. Didn't take him long since moving from, where was he? The Czech Republic. So it looks to me, Sonny on the left, Tell in the middle, and Odebear up front, which means Mikey Moore, I think, in the 10, which I like. Ball comes into the box. Sarr gets a head on it to Reguilon. Reguilon down the line to Son, who's under pressure. He's got 3 around him, so he gives it back to Reguilon, who goes down the line. Bit surprised Spurs haven't given away a goal in the first 5, in the first minute, to be honest. It's more our style to usually do that, isn't it? Let's be totally honest about that. But I'd like to see Odebear get... Mike Barrow in the comments says, I'm pissed off that Spurs feel the need to treat players preferably. Romero and Van der Ven are not made of glass. Get the midfield geared up. They're bloody rubbish. They kind of are made of glass, though, aren't they? That's the thing. Like this season, they've been proven to be made of glass. So I don't know. Anyway, Spurs sitting deep at the moment. Cash on the ball. I'm just trying to work out where Mikey Moore is on the pitch at the moment. Cash has a cross blocked. Is Mikey Moore playing on the right-hand side? So Mikey Moore's playing on the right-hand side. Has he changed the formation here? I think he's playing we're defending in a 4-4-2 at the moment, with Moore trying to help out Jed Spence on the right. Villa try and play one between the lines, but Ben Davis clears it. Let me know in the comments where you think Mikey Moore is currently, what formation we've got at the moment. The Sussex Hotspur says, I like what Andrew's done with the team, wrap the players in cotton wool. Listen, I've been calling for him to wrap them in cotton wool since February, so I can't really have a big go at him about it. I really can't. As Villa play one over the top, but Kinski in a good starting position to collect that. As I've talked about a lot all this season, Kinski's starting position and his distribution is far better. Oh, as Reguilon gives him a bit of a dodgy ball, but he's comfortable with it in his box. Oh, and then he calls on Ollie Watkins and finds the ball out wide to big Kev Danso. Yeah, that's right. Ryan Law says he does seem on the right, but it's more like an inside right. I'm trying to get to grips with this shape at the moment as Kinski plays a nice direct ball. Oh, but unfortunately, Sonny wasn't there. Intriguing shape change, or what looks like a bit of a shape change here. Guys, if you're following on TikTok, this is a live watch along for the Villa Spurs game. Keep it. TikTok, of course, everybody's just only got 3 seconds before they click off. So I doubt we'll have that many long-term viewers, but we'll give it a try. As the ball comes to Martinez. And actually, Villa, I think, maybe a little surprised by our shape because they've not been as good tempo-wise as Palace were against us, that's for sure. Anyway, ball comes to Cash. Tries to play it in between the lines, but picked off by Pat Matassar, who, like I said, needs a big game today. He gives it to Sonny, and it comes backwards straight away to Reguilon. Ben Davies drops off him. Archie Gray is trying to get into that 6 role to get the ball off Davis or Kinski. Kinski just moves the ball to his other side and Gray takes it off Davis, opens it out to Danso. Straight away comes back inside to Gray, who's struggling to get the ball properly out of his feet at the moment. But anyway, ball comes to Sarr. Inside again to Archie Gray. I'm glad Gray's getting some good touches, and he gives it across out to Danso. Spence goes straight away back, and Unai Emery already on the touchline is getting angry at his players for not pressing hard enough. They might have come into this with a bit of complacency, Villa, because they've dropped off, that's for sure. And the ball's come over the top, and Sonny's in here. Sonny's in! And then he didn't know what to do, Sonny! Sonny should have just shot. Beautiful ball from Ben Davis, I think. Yeah. And in the end, he's so desperately waiting for someone to get in the middle, Son. He doesn't realize he should have just had a dig. Lovely ball from Ben Davis, though. And I'm telling you this now, and it may change, but sometimes it's hard to change these things. I think Villa have come into this with a little bit of complacency, because they're not hitting the tempo the way that Palace were moving us around at the weekend at all. Maybe Spurs have just got a little bit of a better shape about them today. There's Archie Gray fighting with John McGinn there. McGinn uses his massive arse well, as he always does. We Jock Poupon McPlop says, are you standing up? Grab a chair, man. No, I'm not standing up. I'm sat down, but thank you. Anyway, Villa going to try and get a cross in now, but Kinski, I thought Kinski was in a great position, but actually it nearly flew over him, but he got a touch on it to get it away from Watkins. Now Watkins on the right-hand side in the box, just playing some intricate stuff now. Watkins has a dig straight at Kinski. But that's another example where actually Kinski's starting position was good. So he ends up getting something on it. And that's where he's a lot more positive than Vicario, because actually I think with Vicario, he may not have come to get anything on that, and it might have just been put in at the back stick. Lovely first touch from Mikey Moore, but tries to get it around the corner. Villa are a little bit on the transition here on the left. Oh, they're in down the left here, Villa. Can he cut it back? Well done, Ben Davis. Picked it off. And then Jed Spence trying a Cruyff turn in his own box. And I think it's McGinn with a shot over the top. What is Jed Spence just doing exactly what he's done for the last few weeks here? He tries a Cruyff turn in his own box, misses it, and they have a free shot on goal. Embarrassing. I've said it already a few times on these watch-alongs, but Jed Spence, since Udogi's got back in the team, he just looks disinterested. And he's just been turned easily again there. Villa now starting to up the tempo a little bit, but a poor through ball. Gazaturn says Son is now officially useless. I think that's a bit harsh. And Kevin 40K says there might be a reason he doesn't start in the Euro. But yeah, listen, I just, I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but I don't know. I don't want to say he's believed his own hype or anything, but he did that Rio Ferdinand interview, didn't he? And he hasn't really been seen since. Anyway, guys, 71 of you concurrently watching on YouTube. Thank you so much. Please do press like on the video if you haven't already. Let's try and get up to 30 odd likes. The more likes we get, the more Spurs fans will see this in their suggested videos. So if you haven't pressed like on the video, thank you so much. Ryan asks, Barnaby, are you commenting on the final going to the game? At the moment, neither. One thing I can tell you is I definitely won't be doing a watch along for it. Oh, Cash. Oh, and Mikey Moore and Son nearly picked the ball off Cash. I'm not going to be doing a watch along. I'm either going to be in Bilbao or I'm going to be watching at a pub in London. But no, I'm definitely not going to be working that one. But there was a little bit of a moment there with Matty Cash where it looked like maybe Sonny or Mikey Moore might be able to nick it off him. I have to say, Spurs, shape-wise, have started this very well. What will remain to be seen, of course, is if Tottenham concede the first goal, how quickly they will capitulate like they did against Crystal Palace, where Palace should have scored 6 or 7 goals, I would say. Nicole Rose says, what do you think about Odebear as our number 10? Thank you for your message, Nicole. Well, I don't think he is playing 10 tonight. I think he's playing on the right-hand side. He did play 10 against Palace. I didn't think a great deal of it. Listen, I think when it comes to Wednesday night and Man United, these are two teams who both hate playing against teams that like make it really tight and play deep blocks. And I do wonder, I have a little bit of a fear for that Europa League final, that both teams might just try and stodge it up. Certainly we know that Spurs in the last few rounds of the Europa League have played pretty tight and pretty direct ball. And that's why I think, like I said again, that Richarlison is not playing today because I think they want him there for that direct ball alongside Solanke opportunity. And I've got a feeling that that game on Wednesday night might be an absolute stodge fest. Few goals in it, maybe won by a set piece or maybe even going to penalties. So, Archie Gray turned far too easy by John McGinn there on the left-hand side. McGinn lays it off. Here's a chance for a shot. Oh, it's miles over the bar. And that was from Matson. Yeah, Ryan says, thanks. Enjoy the final. Hope we are full of smiles after the whistle. So me too. Nicole says, I hope you wear your lucky beanie at the final. I don't think it's that lucky. We've lost myriad times in everything I've worn. All my shirts, my beanie, everything. Mikey Moore gets a touch to Jed Spence, who loses it again. Spence, and they're in down the left here, Villa. And they've got a chance on the edge of the box here. Lays it outside to Watkins. Little 1-2, and actually Pat Matassar does really well there. Jed Spence. I think Pat Matassar started this game pretty well. Jed Spence chewing gum. Makes him look a little bit like laissez-faire about it, but whatever. Anyway, we got up to those 30 likes. Thank you so much, guys. As Odebear gets on the ball and plays a decent ball out now to Sergio Reguilon, who lays it outside into Sonny, and Reguilon carries on with the second run. Good man. Sonny running at Cash now. He's got no one, so he takes a good early cross from Son, and that is cleared at the near post by Konsa, and Tottenham have a corner, everybody. Tottenham Hotspur with the corner. Can we make something happen? Kevin 40K says 10 minutes and in and no goals. We're improving. Absolutely right. Come on, Spurs. It'd be so hilarious if we scored. Yeah, Villa look absolutely huge. Sonny is on the corners. Where do you feel on Sonny starting on Wednesday night, in the final? Do you want Sonny to start? Do you think he will start? Danso trying to make a run at the back post. Just don't put this in Martinez's hands. It was almost as if like I wasn't on delay or something. I literally knew that that's what Sonny was going to do. We've actually had a bit more luck hitting back post corners when Sonny's not been around, so they should have stuck to that. Yeah, Kevin 40K says Olympico. Well, yeah, that was the opposite of that. Anyway, still 0-0 at Villa Park. Tottenham playing outstandingly so far to keep it 0-0. I'm being slightly sarcastic, but they're in the game. So yeah, Mikey Moore at the moment just looks like he's playing on the right of a 4 in midfield. Certainly when we're defending, with then in a 4-4-2 with then Odebear and Tell playing as a genuine 2 up front. Odebear though worked backwards this time. Mikey Moore tries to get a foot in, but he's that's the problem with Mikey Moore at the moment. He's just not quite physically strong enough in 50-50s, is he? Needs to put on some bulk over the summer. Mike Barrow says, what WTF is happening to Jed? And Coolidge says he's a liability. as Tell gives away a free kick there. Do you think Spurs are going to sign Matthias Tell this summer? I don't know. It's hard to know. I think Spurs will definitely try and renegotiate the fee downwards. That's for sure. There's some talk that that Bayern Munich are desperate to sell him to Spurs, particularly because they owe money on the Harry Kane deal that they'd like to offset with that. So Villa have a free kick kind of 10, 15 yards inside our half, and they're going to chip it up to the back post. Oh no, they go short, in fact, down the right. Asensio on the ball. Now he goes for the cross, but it's cleared at the front post. Nice stuff. And Odebear now down the left with a bit of pace. And he's done well. He's cut inside narrow here and then giving it outside to Son on the left. Sonny now driving at Cash. He's got a runner outside him, but this time he has a dig! Oh! What an effort from Sonny. Just over the bar. Oh, that was classic Son. And well done, Odebear. And because he got a run outside him, Son was able to cut inside and he tried to bend it into the far corner and it is millimeters over the bar. That was trademark Sonny. My God, if that had gone in, that would absolutely have made Sonny a shoo-in to start on Wednesday because his confidence would be bang up. But I love that. Good stuff from Odebear. That was some of the best movement I've seen from Odebear since he's been at Spurs. I mean, yeah, Spurs are just sitting very deep and trying to play on the transition here, and that really worked, certainly for players like Odebear. Anyway, Reguilon, who's also started this game okay, gives it to Gray. Gray does not look comfortable with the ball at his feet at the moment. He looks a little bit nervous. He's not scanning much either in that 6 role. As Ben Davis plays the ball down the line into Tell, he's got lovely first touch, gives it to Son. It comes inside. Lovely football from Spurs. What the fuck is going on? Oh, Spurs are in a great position here. Oh, but then a difficult, bad ball from Odebear out wide to Tell. Tell now in the box. Cross. Oh, Spurs have nearly scored again. And then Jed Spence gives away a ridiculous free kick. Unbelievable football from Spurs. What is going on? Beautiful stuff in midfield between Tell, Odebear and Son. And the cross comes in. And it's a kind of attempted back heel flick, similar to what Porro did a few games ago. Beautiful stuff from Odebear in the 9 at that point. They're kind of playing quite fluidly, the front 3. And then it comes to Tell on the right, and he just lays it into the middle, and Odebear with the flick. It's a great save in the end by Martinez. Let's enjoy this. Let's enjoy this before Villa get their first goal because they're playing some beautiful stuff. John Lancaster says, which team is 17th? Delta Bar says, Son looks quite good. Let's hope Zassani can contribute on Wednesday. Kevin 40K said, should this team start on Wednesday, lol? Well, I've got more excited in this first 15 minutes than I have in the Premier League in months watching Spurs. Villa are a little bit shocked with how well Spurs are playing on the transition. But listen, if we got a new manager in next season who wanted to play a little bit on the transition sometimes, or if Ange decided that actually the Premier League is not where he can play his style of football, Reguilon did well there. Reguilon has started really well. Or if Ange decided next season we could play on the transition a little bit with some of those pacey players, Odebear and Tell and the like, hard to handle. Gray plays one down the line into the channel. Odebear trying to chase it down. Delta Bar says, who is the creative force on Wednesday without Decky and Madders? No one. Son, I guess. Enes says Jose Mourinho. Now, I'm not suggesting we play as defensive as Jose, but I don't know if there was a way of playing just slightly more pragmatically, like we have done. Anyway, Cash gets around Reguilon there. Reguilon, who I've just noticed his hair is properly receding. I haven't seen him for so long. He needs to get to Turkey, that boy. Anyway, he did all right there to stop Cash because Cash had got round him. I'm getting excited about this game. I'm going to block off the comments for a little bit just until something else happens. Anana down the left now. McGinn always likes to play well against Spurs. He was on Spurs' list for a while, wasn't he? Tottenham were talked about potentially going for McGinn for a while. Cross comes in, big chance. Oh, and a great save by Kinski. I think it's Rodgers at the near post, flicks it on. Brilliant save from the keeper. So, cross comes in right-footed in-swinger. Rodgers at the near post gets something on it, and Kinski flicks it round the corner. Nobody went with Rodgers. As ever, Spurs appalling at defending. It's a fucking unbelievable save. Here comes the corner. They've taken it short. Get another cross in. This is a deep one. But big Kev Danso gets up. Oh, and Son tried to nick it. Villa in down the left now. Well played, Archie Gray at the near post. Good defending from Archie. I'm pleased for Kinski because he didn't show much last week, and obviously he made a few rickets, didn't he, when he was in the team earlier in the season. But anyway, the ball goes back to Martinez. Let's see what you guys are saying about that save in the comments. Kevin 40k says back to normal service. Ryan Law says, I'm surprised we don't play Reguilon more often as he's a natural left back and push Spence on his natural right. Well, Spence isn't... he hasn't started this game that well on the right either. Dave Bird says, where do you think we'd be in the league if Ange hadn't stuck to his style of football and played to manage the games? Higher, I think, is where we would be. Much, much higher. But, yeah. Anyway, here's Torres on the left-hand side. Well done, Papsar. Gets in the way, and then quickly Spurs get it into Tell, and then he's knocked off the ball a little too easily. It's not the Bundesliga here, mate. You've got to use your body. Get your body in the way, and then if you feel the touch from the opposition player, throw yourself to the ground. A 100 of you watching at the moment, guys. Thank you so much for your support. If you're watching on YouTube, please do press like if you haven't already. And if you're not already a subscriber to my channel, please do press that subscribe button. Daily Tottenham Hotspur content, and then in the summer, Premier League and wider ranging transfer stuff as well. I also do some Tottenham documentaries. There's lots going on my channel as Archie Gray gives away a foul. So do press that subscribe button if you haven't already. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Villa. Ryan says, guys, I'm not watching. How's Odebear playing in the centre? He's not playing in the centre at the moment. I don't know. The front three seem to be quite fluid. I mean, I don't really understand where Mikey Moore's playing, but he's not getting on the pitch. That's for sure. Sorry, not getting on the ball. He is on the pitch. 21 minutes gone. Here comes a free kick into the box from Villa. Well up. Pat Matassar. Clears it. Well, Ryan's asking who's in the number 10. Guys, what do you guys think? At the moment, I would say we're definitely defending in a 4-4-2, and there is no number 10. We're kind of playing Mikey Moore wide right, Sonny wide left, and then Tell and Odebear as strikers, just kind of defending deep. And then, good ball, good stuff. Villa had a chance there in the box, but they tried to be a little bit too intricate. Watkins trying to play a little ball in. But when we're on the ball, it just seems quite fluid around the front three. Tell has popped up on the left. Sonny's been on the left most of the time. Moore on the right. Moore is definitely the one in the front three who's not, or in the front line, sorry, who's not getting on the ball. But Ryan Law says he thinks it's Tell in the 10. Let's have a look here now. Yeah, I don't know. Because right now, Mikey Moore is down the middle when it looked like we were about to transition. Oh, and there's Matty Cash asking the ref to book someone. That is supposed to be, you're not supposed to be allowed to do that, Matty Cash. And the ref has actually called him on it. I love it. Well done, the ref. I saw Matty Cash go like that to the ref, and that is the rule. He's an idiot, and I'm glad for that. I hope he gets sent off at some point. He got fouled by Sarr. There's nothing in it, an innocuous foul in the middle of the pitch. And then he gets up and asks the ref to give him that. Mate, that is a booking for you. And well done, the ref, for being strong enough to do it. Good lad. Enes says, Tottenham needs Arda Güler. I don't think he's going to come to Spurs, is he? Carbonite Plays says, deserves that. Yeah, for the amount of players that he's injured Spurs down the years. Anyway, 23 minutes gone. Tottenham still drawing. What a time to be alive. Here comes Cash. Chance to cross. Well blocked, though, by Sergio Reguilon, and then Sonny's helping him out. So Sonny gives it back to Reggie, who just clears it long. We're playing more like the European Spurs. Here comes Tell with a chance to challenge Konsa for a header, but that was easily won. Physical battle won again. Crooks 1181 says, these kids are making me proud. And Meme Hook says, Matty Cash and Ben White give each other hand jobs. No direct video evidence of that as far as I'm concerned, but please, please do send it on. Villa trying to play in between, but Jed Spence does well there. And then Archie Gray, I think that is, with the big left-footed diag to Sonny, who gets tackled by Matty Cash. Listen, surely none of us expected Spurs to still be at 0-0 after 25 minutes. They're putting in a good shift here, the boys. They really are. It'd be hilarious if Cash got himself sent off in this game. I mean, other than us being 0-0, the most surprising thing in this game for me so far has been Reguilon's hairline. Where has that gone when he's been just training and not getting any matches? Anyway, throws it down the line. Spurs just have no physical presence. I mean, basically on the pitch, other than Danso, but certainly not in the forward line. And then I'll tell you what, Tell has gone to tackle Rodgers there, and Rodgers has jumped out like he's been shot. I don't think there's much in that. The ref seems to be dealing with this pretty well here. Yeah, good. I'm glad the ref didn't book him there, because let's have a look at this. I don't know, unless he got the corner of it, the end of his boot on his shin, maybe. But anyway, no booking for Tell. Tell is definitely playing in the 9 position at the moment. Odebear on the right of him, Son on the left of him, and then Sarr and Gray in the middle, and then Spence and Moore. It's bizarre. Moore kind of sometimes playing more in the right back position, and then Spence getting ahead of him when we're defending. Moore's working hard, but he's been turned there. Just a bit of physicality again. Matson driving at Spence. Oh, gets the cross in, but Kev Danso clears. But nobody up there for Spurs, so he'll come back again with Anana to Konsa, and he'll get it back out wide left to Torres. Little intricate play in midfield from Villa. McGinn. Archie Gray gets a foot in, but comes back. Kids have done well here so far. 44 of you have liked the stream on YouTube so far, guys. Let's get it up to 50. If you haven't pressed a like, please do press a like. That way, more Spurs fans, maybe some Villa fans too, who knows, will get to see it in their suggested videos. Very happy to have some Villa fans in here if you want to talk. I know Villa fans kind of hate Spurs fans over the last while. They're trying to take our place in the, traditional, what they call the traditional top 6 now. But it takes a little more than just getting in the Champions League once. You have to do it for kind of 10 seasons in a row, really, if you want to be seen in that way. And listen, an ex of mine supported Villa, so I don't have a problem with Villa, but yeah, you've been relegated a few times. Oh, nice little flick there. A cross came in, and Asensio basically tried to just back heel it over Kinski. It's wide. Kinski was never worried, but a lovely bit of skill from Asensio. As ever with Spurs, you'd say that we look most vulnerable when crosses are coming in. And I imagine the reason there are lots of crosses coming in is because analysts from the oppositions are always looking at Spurs and saying, if you get crosses in the box, they will concede goals. Look how different Spurs are to how we were against Palace. Kinski kicking the long ball here from a goal kick. I love it. And now the ball comes to Reggie, and he just tries to put it up into the channel. He kind of shanks it out, but very, very un-Ange performance here, other than Ange in Europe, and I'm here for it at this point. It's winding Villa up. I don't mind it. Oh, but a good ball over the top, but Kevin Danso comes across to clear it. Once again, Spence is further ahead than Moore, which is a bit odd, but now Moore tries to get away. And Archie Gray tries to put one over Matty Cash's head for Sonny, but Sonny wasn't really there, and Cash is able to head it straight back to Martinez. 27 minutes gone, still 0-0. Oh, good ball inside there for Anana to come forward. And then he really absolutely pings one. But Asensio showing his absolute class there. Oh, beautiful. Cuts inside Sonny. And then plays a brilliant through ball. What a goal this would be. But a brilliant block from Kev Danso. Wow. Brilliant football from Asensio. And that gets the fans up for it. And Tell on the left now. Oh, and a ball through. Sonny into the box on his left foot. Oh, but again, he can't decide what to do. So he turns away and keeps it this time. Gets it back to Tell. And for the first time in a while, Spurs just trying to put their foot on the ball a little bit. Davis. Odebear had a chance to come into midfield for the ball there, but didn't really fancy it. Danso now trying to come down the line and puts one over the top, straight through to Martinez. Spurs are a little, to say the least, one-dimensional in their play today, which is backwards and long. But Asensio showing his class there. He's kind of Eriksen-esque in his flair levels. Spurs, I would still say Spurs have not replaced Christian Eriksen in any way. Eriksen used to play most of the games, goals, assists, just a magical player and underrated by Spurs fans, I think. Good football from Villa outside here, but a good little touch came in from there. And Odebear tries to hold it up, but actually Villa won it away from Spence again. And now Maatsen driving down the left. Cross comes in, but Ben Davies in a good position gets rid of it. Moore and Spence, I think it's fair to say, not doing great down the left-hand side at the moment. Villa playing some intricate stuff in the box. Spence way out there. Cross comes to the back post. But the touch cannot keep it on at the back post for Villa. And half an hour gone. Aston Villa 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0 in a game I was pretty sure Spurs would lose by 5. It could still happen because it'll be interesting to see whether they're willing to put this much effort in if they do concede the first goal and it's a bit of a party at Villa. But at the moment, 72% possession, Aston Villa, 28% Spurs, 13 touches in Spurs' box, 4 touches for Spurs in Villa's box. But we've had some chances. Son has made some space down the left-hand side, and one of his shots really close to going into the top corner. Assar wins a header well in midfield for Spurs. He's fighting hard. Very young team Spurs have got on the pitch here. I just like Mikey. I think Mikey Moore is not really getting in the game at the moment, as Spence is turned too easily by McGinn and knocked off the ball a third time. And Spence keeps working into. He does well to keep working into the box, but then good ball from McGinn. Villa in the just to the edge of the box now. Good stuff from Villa here. Chance here at the back, and Watkins cuts it back, but it's cleared easily by Moore. Cash now on the right. Villa definitely the team with the better patterns and the more confidence on the ball. Now Cash has got some space on the right and he puts it into the box. Cut back by Rodgers. Reguilon does well, and then it's cleared. And now Sonny has some space to run into, and he's got Tell outside him. And Odebear trying to move down the centre. Comes to Tell. He tried to come narrow, but it breaks to Sonny, and he can come narrow now, and he slows it down. Reguilon into Sarr, gives it back to Reggie. Gray is kind of... I don't want to be down on Gray because he's going to be a brilliant player, and I think he's an excellent centre-half already. But he's, I would say, half-heartedly trying to get the ball off his defenders in between them at the moment. But I don't know. Anyway, he gets it now. Not really on the half-turn, then has to give it back to Ben Davies. Villa kind of half pressing in a 3 up front. Gray plays it wide to Son, who goes first time down the line. Brilliant run from Reguilon. Bloody hell, what's he doing there? He tries the early cross. Oh, nearly came to Tell on the edge. Good cross from Reggie, but Villa are able to bring it away now. But Ben Davies does well with a header. And then a late tackle there. And this is the first booking for a Spurs player. Who's that? Archie Gray. And Watkins was just toying with him, and then a very late challenge. And I actually think that challenge comes from 33 minutes of frustration for Archie Gray. I think he's kind of, the game is kind of passing him by a little bit. But that's just experience. You know, he's a young boy and he hasn't played a lot of Premier League games in central midfield, and it is quick as fuck. It's just getting away from him at the moment. So Villa looks like are going to play a free kick into the Spurs box. Spurs keeping their line on the 18-yard box. Here comes Cash. No, it's not Cash. It's going to be Asensio. Here it comes. Cleared at the front stick. Then it's back out to Asensio. He's going to try and get another crossing, is he? No, he comes narrow. Yeah, now he dinks one up to the far post. Tell does really well and was fouled. Well played, Matthias Tell. Good defending from Spurs. Ange Postecoglou in a bit of a tracksuit kind of, tracksuit top number, zip up tracksuit top, sky blue. Haven't seen him in that one very often. 112 of you watching concurrently at the moment, guys. Thank you so much for your support. Please do like if you haven't already, and do subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber. Get the feeling there'll be more live watch-alongs on this channel going forward. I'll certainly be doing the last game of the season on this channel as they cut to Daniel Levy in the director's box. God, he's a glutton for punishment, Levy, isn't he? He turns up to all the games. Let's get Jed Spence. I just want Jed Spence to show the kind of form that he showed in that period of the season. He just doesn't really care at the moment, I don't think. But anyway, Kinski. He's had a good start to this game. Lays it out to Ben Davis. He's got Reggie outside him. Oh, Reggie tried to nutmeg his man and loses it. And Villa now at us down the right-hand side. Rodgers. Davis is out of position here. Comes to the edge of the box. Asensio might fancy a dig on his left foot here. He does! Oh, and it's just wide. What a lovely player Asensio is. What a player. He cut in from the right on his left foot. Oh, it's so close. Beautiful effort. Listen, I'm going to say it now. If Villa don't want to take up Asensio on this loan at the end of this season, I'd have him at Spurs like a shot. He is a Rolls Royce of a player. A Rolls Royce of a player. Kinski goes long. Sarr tries to get up, but foul is given away in the air. Villa have a free kick. Yeah, Sky getting on the Asensio narrative. They're loving his performance so far too. Yeah, co-commentator saying, kind of player you love to watch. I completely agree. Anyway, 36 minutes gone. Still Villa 0, Spurs 0. Villa have had all the ball. They've had some good intricate play in the box. But that was probably, other than one really good save from an in-swinging kind of cross that I think Rodgers got a touch on at the near post. Brilliant save from Kinski. Other than that, and that shot from Asensio, they haven't cut us open by any means. Spurs definitely putting in a better performance than against Palace. As Sarr does not, Asensio just takes it round Sarr. Sarr fouls him about 4 times. Tottenham really struggling with Asensio tonight. Sarr's just got to know there that Asensio's heavily left-footed, so he's always going to take it round you on his left. Come on. That's where a bit of experience comes in that we are severely lacking tonight. Okay, so this free kick is probably 40 yards out or so. McGinn standing over it. It would be a real performance, real feat if Spurs could get to half-time at 0-0 here, but you would expect Villa to find a way to score before half-time. This ball is going to be hit to the back stick from McGinn. 2 players free at the back stick, but a good save from a ball on the bounce by Kinski. As ever, Tottenham do not defend their back post. Konsa had the free header above Danso. As Spence tries to drop one over the top of Villa's back 4, but it goes straight through to the keeper. Spurs, a bit clueless on the ball tonight so far. Spurs fans at the ground making noise. It's good to see, but we're struggling to get on the ball at the moment, really. Reguilon takes a touch there and then immediately tries to put one into the channel, but it's easily dealt with. But Tell does well, gets the ball back, and Spurs try and play a little bit of intricacy. Reguilon under pressure, tries to dink one over the top of Rodgers, but it's easily picked off. And now Villa are coming at us again. Turn just outside the box, Spence nowhere near it. And Gray in the end clears just inside the box for a Villa throw-in. Yeah, they're probing, that's sure. Matty Cash now. I mean, they're the better team, which is not a surprise considering Spurs have literally played... I mean, who in this 11 will start the Europa League final? Son, potentially. Sarr, potentially. I'm talking about potential, not guaranteed. I don't think there's one player on this pitch who is a guaranteed starter for Spurs in the Europa League final. So Villa should be the better team. They should be dominating us, and they are. But Spurs have had chances. Konsa outside the box here. Brings it back. And here comes... Oh, cross was going to come in, but comes to the edge of the box, and Maatsen. Spence dives in a little bit there, leaving Mikey Moore to try and defend at the byline. Cross comes to the back. Dealt with by Odebear, and then it comes down the line to Son, and Tell trying to get on his bike to get with him. Son showing a bit of pace we haven't seen for a long time. Sonny is in down the left again now. Oh, but now he's taken too much time again, and this time his cross is poor. But that was good to see Sonny's pace. Wow. Oh, and Jed Spence with a good tackle there down the right. But I haven't seen pace like that from Sonny for a long time. Just the final ball a little bit lacking, but that is good to see. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what Ange does at half-time here. If he takes Sonny off at half-time, you'd think there's a chance that he'd play on Wednesday night from the start. Guys, just 5 minutes till half-time. Over 100 of you watching concurrently on YouTube. Thank you so much. Please do press that like button and subscribe. I will be going through the comments, all of them, at half-time, and I'll give you a little rundown of what's happened in this first half as well. Thank you so much for tuning into this live watch-along. Aston Villa 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Villa dink one over the top on the right-hand side to Cash, who's one-on-one with Reguilon. He's got help from Asensio. He'll try and bend one in with his left foot, you would have thought. He doesn't. He does a little diag, actually, out to Maatsen, the left back. He's got Moore in front of him. Feel sorry for Mikey Moore in this game. He's literally just doing doggies back and forth, not getting on the ball whatsoever. But it's kind of working at the moment for Spurs. As Anana tries to dink one to the back post over Reguilon. Cash cuts it back, but Reguilon got in a good position. And then Reguilon does really well. And out to Sonny again, who has space to run into again. And Spurs have 4 forward here. Sonny plays it down the line to Tell. Oh, and Tell. Oh, Tell nearly got ahead of Konsa. In the end, that's decent defending. But Spurs playing properly on the transition with pace breaking forward. But it's the final ball that is not coming at the moment from Sonny. He looks a little ring rusty, as you would expect. Come on, Spurs. Get this to half-time without conceding. That would be great. It's fascinating to see Mikey Moore in a starting defensive position playing kind of alongside Jed Spence, stopping Villa from doubling up down the left-hand side. And then it's Spence almost who tries to nick the ball in midfield when it comes his way. Maatsen does well down the left. Some good little play. Lovely play from Villa down the left. They've got a chance to get it in the box now. And then it cuts back, but Sarr gets a good header on it and Gray clears it. Spurs are fighting tonight. They are fighting. Throw comes back to Maatsen. Asensio, sorry. Maatsen gets a cross in. Oh, it's a good ball. Lovely goalkeeping at the near post from Kinski. Collected it. Came out, collected it. Made it easy for his defenders on the bounce. Been impressed with Kinski this half. Long ball again. Oh, and a good header in midfield won by Odebear there. And Son heads it back to Sarr. And Sarr being forced backwards by Villa's press. But now it comes to Ben Davis. Gets it across to Big Kev Danso. Spence now goes down the line to Mikey Moore. Little bit of space for Moore. He goes down the line again to Odebear. Good stuff from Spurs. Oh, and then the lino's being a knob, gives a foul or handball maybe. It's Moore really who hasn't been in this game so far. But yeah, as the commentator said, he is the youngest player on the park. 43 minutes gone. There shouldn't be too much added at the end of this as well. Come on, Spurs. Try and just keep this strong for the last 1.5 minutes or so. McGinn now. Back to Torres. Torres breaks through past Odobert. Oh, a beautiful ball into the box from Pau Torres. And he's gone back for the return ball. And the cross comes in. And Asensio does well to keep it on the edge of the box. And then he goes with a cross, but it's blocked by Jed Spence. Comes back out to Torres. Gives it to Asensio as well, again. And now they're in down at the left-hand side byline as well. But Archie Gray gets across, and that's a corner to Aston Villa. Just before half-time. Less than a minute to go. Emery does not look desperately pleased on the bench. I think he looks like I thought. He thought it was going to be easy. Asensio is going to give the outswinger. Come on, Spurs. Don't concede just before half-time. He goes short with it to Maatsen. And here comes the big cross from McGinn. Oh, free at the back stick is Cash. But it was just a bit over him. And then Sonny gets an important header. Cash turns away from Tell. He was just a little bit too keen to get on the ball. But then offside. And with 15 seconds left until 45 minutes, that might be half-time. And that would constitute, for me, one of Tottenham's best performances of the season under the circumstances. Kinski is going to knock this one long. I mean, I guess from this, you just have to say that Ange must have looked at what we delivered against Crystal Palace the weekend and said, I'm not letting that happen again, and put us in a shape to not allow Villa to play their kind of natural game. And the Villa fans, some of them got their hands on their heads. They're not ecstatic or even slightly happy about how this is going so far. They need 3 points tonight. I'm sure they will get them, but they need it for their Champions League chances. 1 minute added. So Villa might have one more chance to get the ball forward. Danso gets rid of it down the line. And it comes back to Martinez. 20 seconds to go. Concert. I wonder if Richarlison will get some minutes in his legs in the second half. He could cause Villa be a bit of a handful. And the ref surely has got to blow up soon as the ball comes out wide to Asensio. It's gone 46 minutes here, ref. Come on, ref. Ball comes to the back stick, but cleared by Mikey Moore. And that is half-time. And you've got to say, one of the great Big Ange Postecoglou defensive performances. Jesus Christ. It's like Tottenham are, it turns out, able to play in a pragmatic manner when their backs are against the wall. Why didn't he try and play like this earlier in the season when we had Romero and Van der Ven and Davis and everyone else out injured? Mike Barrow says in the comments, Barnaby, this is the most positive commentary from you for ages, despite the absence of the glass players always give us 30% more. It's positive because the manager, and maybe the manager has asked Matty Wells to set them up in a certain way tonight. I don't know. But this is the direct opposite of Ange ball, and I like it. I like it. Philly Hotspur says Ange with a first half masterclass. Listen, it won't happen. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but it won't happen. But if Spurs got a draw at Villa Park on their party night when they want to get the 3 points to help them towards Champions League qualification, that would be hilarious. I'll go quickly into what happened in that half, guys. Thank you. 135 of you watching concurrently. Nearly 70 likes. Thank you so much, guys, for your support. I'm loving it. Please do press like if you haven't already. Please do subscribe to the channel. Regular daily Tottenham content and documentaries and transfer stuff. Okay, 4th minute. Sonny was in down the left. He's got in down the left time and time again tonight, Son Heung-min. And he's shown some pace. He looks sharp until the final ball. And in the 4th minute, he should have had a shot. Instead, he tried to find a cross. And in the end, he did kind of neither. It came from a great ball from Ben Davis. 5th minute, Kinski showed good starting position. He came out for a cross, which I don't think Vicario would have come for. It was a little bit over him, so he gets a touch on it away from Watkins. Then Watkins sets up a shot for himself, and Kinski saves it straight down his throat. 6th minute, the first Evidence of a bit of a poor showing again from Jed Spence. He tried to Cruyff turn it in his own box, lost it, and then McGinn had a free shot and it went just over the bar. 9th minute, Maatsen shot over the bar after McGinn turned Archie Gray easily. Gray didn't have a great start to the game, in my opinion, but he's got himself more into it as it went along. 10th minute, I've made a note. Spence loses it again, led to a half chance in the box, but Pat Matassar did well to get in the way. 14th minute, I've just written here, trademark Son Heung-min. Brilliant play from Odobert to hold it up, then gave it to Sonny down the left. He cuts in because he's got a runner going down the outside and tries to hit it in that trademark Sonny right foot into the top left-hand corner, and it's only just over. I'm telling you this, Emi Martinez was worried about it. Then just 1 minute later, unbelievable football from Spurs between Tell, Odobert and Son. The cross eventually comes in, and Odobert with the flick from behind him, the kind of Cruyff flick finish. Good save from Emi Martinez. 17th minute, I've made a note to say that Sergio Reguilon has started well. Nothing about how Sergio Reguilon played tonight or how he played for Brentford or Man United when he was on loan makes me think that he is a terrible player. He just seems like a half-decent fullback. Like, he's not world-class by any means, but, you know, when we've had so many injury problems this season, he's been, like, pushed out. Deary me. Anyway, 18th minute, brilliant save, Kinski. Save of the half. One of the saves of the season, actually. In-swinging cross comes in from Aston Villa's left, but on the right foot. And it's coming in towards the back post, and Rodgers gets a little flick on it. But because Rodgers is there, Kinski cannot make his decision to dive and try and make the save until after it's past Rodgers, after he's got the flick on it. And he flies to his left, Kinski, and tips it just round the post. Absolutely magic. One of my favourite parts of the half, 22nd minute, Matty Cash booked. I think it was Pat Matassar who gave him a little kick in midfield, fouls him. He goes down. There's nothing much in it. It's innocuous. But then as Cash is on the ground, he gives it one of those to the ref to try and get Sarr booked. And the ref goes, fuck you, mate. You can be booked. And I love to see it. 26th minute was when Asensio really started getting hold of this game for Villa. He's a Rolls Royce of a player. Back heel from him in the box, just wide from a cross. Kind of tried to flick it over Kinski. The ball came into him kind of waist height. More brilliance from him in the 28th minute, nearly a goal, but Danso blocked brilliantly from Watkins after Asensio kind of beat a couple of men in our half and then played in a lovely ball to Watkins. 31st minute, Watkins should have shot, but he tried to pull it back and Mikey Moore was in a good position to clear it. Should say, Mikey Moore, fascinating position today. Kind of playing in between right back, inside right and right midfield. Doing a lot of doggy defensive work, Mikey Moore. He's hardly been on the ball, but putting in a shift. Good lad. 32nd minute, great run and cross from Reguilon. Nearly found Sarr at the edge of the box, but just missed him. 33rd minute, Archie Gray was booked for a very late jackal on Ollie Watkins. He's had a bit of a frustrating half, Archie Gray, and I think a lot of that came out in that challenge on Watkins. 35th minute, probably the closest that Villa have come. Asensio cutting in from the right, wraps his left foot around the board into the far corner, but just wide. And Kinski was absolutely rooted. He wasn't getting anywhere near that. 37th minute, another good save from Kinski on the bounce from a Konsa free header. It was from a McGinn free kick that he chips up to the back post. And as ever, Tottenham not defending their back post. But it was a good save because although there wasn't a lot of pace on the header, it was on the bounce and Kinski collected it easily. Then in the 39th minute, Sonny just showed unbelievable pace down the left. But again, unfortunately, the final ball lacking. And then 42nd minute, last kind of half chance that came in this half. Great goalkeeping from Kinski again. Collected a ball on the bounce. Would have been a really difficult cross for Spurs to deal with, for the defenders to deal with, had Kinski not been in a good starting position and showed excellent handling. So that's it. Aston Villa 0, Tottenham 0 at half-time. I should say, once again, in case you weren't here at the beginning, before this game, I asked my friend Tom to put a fair amount of money on Tottenham to be beaten by 5 goals tonight. The odds weren't great, but I just felt sure after that Palace game last week. But so far, Tottenham have put in a real shift. And they are a pest to Aston Villa tonight. Not just because, you know, we're defending stoutly, but also because on the transition, where we're showing some pace, getting in behind, especially behind Matty Cash over and over again. Sonny giving him a bit of a torrid time. They're just showing that replay of the chance in the 4th minute. He should have just put his left foot through that. Made Martinez make a save. He kind of got to about 8 yards out in the end. Now they're showing the one that he bends over into the far corner. Brilliant effort. Anyway, it's been a thoroughly enjoyable half as a Spurs fan, which is not something I've been able to say in the Premier League for a long, long time. Beautiful attempt. They just showed the one from Odebear trying to flick it around. Odebear's a talent. Listen, guys, Odebear is a talent. If he can stay fit as he gets older, he is a quick boy. Anyway, let's get into the comments. Ashen Wizard, thank you so much for your comments. Says win streak incoming. Yeah, we'll see about that. We Jock says, is it bad that I've not even bothered to watch this? It's been pretty evident that the players don't give two shits about the league anymore. Yeah, but they're putting in a decent performance, these boys. Sai's going to go well. Says Moore looks out of place. He needs more physicality. He does need more physicality, and he will get bigger as he gets older. But he's been just put in a bit of a doggy position tonight. Crooks 1181 says Reggie 7 out of 10 player all day long. No, I wouldn't go that far. I've seen him play some bad performances, but he's doing all right. And he also says Spence and Mikey putting in a shift. Respect. Just before I keep going with the comments, guys, 87 of you have pressed the like button so far. If there's anyone here watching who hasn't pressed the like button, please do. The more likes we get, the more Spurs fans will get pushed to. Let's get as much Spurs in this watch along and as much debate going as we possibly can. Crooks also says Graves trying to get in the game, keep him on the pitch. 1 second, just have to do that. Oh, unable to verify. Oh, I see. Sorry about that. Scribble Scrabble says Spence is battling with McGinn. Yeah, McGinn's a good player and he uses his massive arse really well. He's hard to get the ball off, but Spence just sometimes yeah, I don't know. I hope to be proven wrong. I'd love to see more from him in the second half, that's for sure. Ryan says feeling Sonny might come off for Rishi and then a front light shuffle, also known as rest Son. Possibly. Coolidge says Kinski seems calmer than Vicario. Listen, I used to be a keeper, so I feel like I can at least talk a little bit about this. I've said it from the start, from the first game I saw Kinski play in that Liverpool game. His starting position is better than Vicario's. He's braver in terms of being on the front foot with his starting position. He is not as good a shot stopper as Vicario as yet. But what's been interesting in the last 10 games or so, Vicario has made some mistakes with shot stopping as well. Kinski didn't look that comfortable against Palace, I'd say, but he has had a great 45 minutes here. Let's see if he can put in a 90-minute performance so far. So Sai's going to go well, says Odebear should be the 10. We'll see. I don't know. I honestly don't know what he's going to go with against Manchester United in the Europa League final. It'll be really interesting to see. Sarr has had an okay game this half so far. He's put himself about. He's just so leggy, Sarr, always, isn't it? It seems like a bit of a cliche to say it, but he's very leggy. Just doesn't seem to, just doesn't seem to be in the right positions at the right time that often. But don't forget, he did score against Manchester United, didn't he? Was it last season? I think maybe it's certainly at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Got a really important goal against Man United. So who knows? Jack London Exile, thanks for your comments. Says great positive vibes. Come on, you Spurs. Scribble Scrabble says Sonny looking good tonight. Lee Phillips says thumbs up with the Welsh flag. That must be about Ben Davis. Now Sean Ansell says while Andy's responsible for this team, he's never going to hand over control to someone else. It's his plan or he'd quit. Okay, I see. That's about me suggesting maybe Matty Wells got involved in the coaching for this shape. I don't know. It's just so out of character. Ange hasn't really changed shape like this before defensively, although he did try the kind of 3-5-2, 5-3-2 away at Everton, but that first half against Everton was completely embarrassing. Guys, who's going to be there? We go. 100 likes, guys. Thank you so much. 143 of you watching concurrently, 100 likes. Loving it. Loving this support for the watch-alongs, guys. Let me know in the comments. Do you want me to do more watch-alongs on this channel as we go forward? I'll definitely be doing the last Premier League game against, I think it's Brighton, isn't it? Next Sunday, which will hopefully just be us watching the Tottenham squad who are completely hungover, doing whatever they want at home because we will have won the Europa League by then. That's what I'm desperate to have happened. But also, I might do some watch-alongs on this channel for the ridiculous FIFA World Club Cup that starts in January. I'm going to keep the content coming over the summer, and I might do some live watch-alongs for some of those games. Let me know if you think that is something you'd be interested in potentially tuning into, maybe second screening whilst you're in the office this summer. Let's see what happens. But I'll certainly be doing, like I said, the last game of the season and then pre-season games for Spurs as well. Crook says Tell is not ready. However, Sai's going to go well, says Tell should start in the final. He's got a lovely touch, Tell. He'd probably be more suited to the final because I don't think it's going to be a Premier League, even though it's two Premier League clubs. I don't think it's going to be a Premier League tempo game. I really don't. I think both teams are, like I said earlier, are going to be a little bit defensive, a little bit slow tempoed. It might be a little bit dross. I think a lot of the pundits will say going into the final, oh, it'll be loads of goals because Man United and Spurs are so poor defensively. I don't think so. Unless there's a really early goal that forces one of the teams to really come out, I think it might be a bit of a stodge fest, but let's see. Stephen Murphy says players are playing well so far. Crook says good half. Philly Hotspur, and we're back. And with a first half masterclass. Crook says result incoming. Yes, please, your watch alongs a top draw. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Tunde. Hello, Tunde. Lovely to see you, mate. He says, yeah, love your work. Come on, you Spurs. Stephen says, yes, please. John Lancaster says he's asking you guys, who else is watching the final in the stadium? Of course, if you didn't know, Tottenham Hotspur are showing the final at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on the big screens, and they're putting screens on the pitch after much gnashing of teeth. They'd announced that they weren't going to put screens on the pitch for it. Everyone went mental, and now they've decided they will. So let John in the comments know if you are also going to the final at the stadium. Meme Hook says, yes, Barnaby, I've grown to love you. I'll take that. I'll take any love I can get. Stephen Murphy asks, do you think Andy's listening to his coaches? He doesn't really when he's on the touchline, does he? But I don't know. I've just seen certainly the way that the shape has changed in the Europa League and in this game, and the more direct that we've gone, I do think maybe he has had to listen to someone else. Just say, look, in the Premier League, in the Europa League, we're not going to get to the final unless we play in a different way. And we've done that in the Europa League, and we're doing it tonight as well. Plush Teddy says no more Chris Cowell in live stream. Chris has just asked that I don't do it for the last couple of games of the season. I said absolutely fine, so I thought I'd do it here. And Stephen Murphy says would mean a lot if we can get something out of this game. And Scribble Scrabble says Kinski has been fantastic tonight. I agree. Ashen Wizard says Otter Bear dribbling is so silky. I'd love to see more of it. I'd like to see us get Mikey Moore on the ball more. Mike Barry says, you have to stay with Chris Cowlin. That's my dream team. I'm not splitting up from Chris Cowlin. He just asked me. I think the reality is, Chris, the reality is there hasn't been any interest in watching Spurs live streams in the Premier League. There just hasn't, because it's been so poor. So Chris asked if we could not do them for those two last games, and that's absolutely fine. He also asked if I would do it for the Europa League final, but I said no, because I tell you what, guys, I love doing these watch-alongs, but I miss watching Spurs in the pub. I miss getting pissed with my mates, and that's what I'm going to do for the final if I'm not in Bilbao. I'm still waiting for maybe a possibility. Could I see an opportunity to get to Bilbao in some kind of way that won't be hugely expensive? So far, I've been quoted £1,000 for a ticket. That's a little bit, quite a lot above what I'm happy to pay. And then if I get a ticket, I think I would look to try and get out there, maybe sleep on some people's floors, just make some last minute decisions. Basically what happened with the Champions League final is I got a ticket pretty late on, and I managed to find my way out there. And obviously I only enjoyed it for 22 seconds. But if an opportunity comes up, I basically got next week off from Sunday. My partner is running a half marathon on Sunday, and I'm going to go and watch her, but also hopefully via a number of pubs. And I'm just seeing as Sunday past next Wednesday as Europa League final week, and hope to just basically be drunk most of the time. Let me know what you guys are doing. Anyway, the players are back on the pitch. Doesn't look to me like there are any changes so far. Sonny staying on. Apparently Maguire has had a goal disallowed for Man United. John Lancaster asks, aren't there coaches going out there for £300? Yeah, it's about 270 Spurs have laid on coaches. But, and let me know if I'm wrong here, but from the coach timetable, it looks like it doesn't arrive until about 2 hours till kickoff, and then it leaves straight after kickoff. And for me, going out to Bilbao will be as much as sampling the atmosphere and being around Spurs fans for at least 24, 48 hours as it is as watching the game. Anyway, the game has kicked off. Thank you for all your support, guys. Loving this watch along so far. Villa now kicking from right to left as we look at it. Spurs haven't made any subs. Let's see what happens. I'm pretty sure Emery will have got into Villa after that first half performance. And as we did in the first half, defending in that 4-4-2 formation, Odebear and Tell as the two, with Sonny and Mikey Moore tucking in from out wide. Villa have won 8 games this season from drawing at half-time. So you'd still expect Villa to win. But so far, it's just nice to see a performance put in. McGinn trying to pin Spence again. But this time, Spence gets ahead of him. And he wants to throw in for that, but it's not given. It's given to Aston Villa. Maatsen going to take it on the left-hand side. I just get Sonny in down the left again. I love to see Sonny score in this game. I would love to see his smiling face and get some confidence into him before the final. Maatsen throws the ball back to Pau Torres, who plays it across. It's a good pass, actually, to Matty Cash. I'll tell you this, Tell and Odebear, not that bothered about pressing. They're letting the Villa centre-backs and full-backs 15 yards inside a half. But this time, Odebear got a foot in and Spence just absolutely whacks it clear with his left foot. Cash, with a bit of a dodgy touch, sends him backwards. And it comes to Konsa. Loving this, guys. 140 concurrent watchers at the moment and 116 likes. I love this support, guys. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, please do subscribe for more watch-alongs and daily Spurs content. Asensio has been the player of this game. Tries a little 1-2 outside the box, but it's cleared by Gray. Then easily dealt with, back to Asensio. Takes it out wide, tries to get a cross in. Spence blocks it, and that's a corner to Aston Villa. This is going to be an outswinger from Asensio. Kinski, good starting position here. And he comes for it. Beautiful claim. Love it. Like I said. Oh, and then he goes for the long throw. Oh, and Odebear is in here. Odebear is in. Oh, but his first touch is horrible. Oh, what a throw, though, from Kinski. Such a shame. Oh, good defending from Spence there, but a poor touch. Villa back at it, but I said it, didn't I? Just before the corner came in, Kinski's starting position is great. He's about 4 yards off his line for the outswinger. Just wants to come and claim the ball in a way that Vicario, he doesn't like it in the same way. I still think as Kinski gets older and becomes a better shot stopper, he will eventually be a great, great goalkeeper. Anyway, Cash on the ball now. Tries with the left foot cross. It's a good cross, but Danso did really well there just to get in the way of Ollie Watkins. And it goes off for a goal kick. Good defending from Danso. Kinski, foot on the ball, gives it to Ben Davis, and he just goes for the channel ball, but it's blocked. Spurs throw on the left. See what you guys are saying in the comments into this second half. Mike Barra says, I've been with Spurs since the 60s, and I agree with Carbonite Plays. What did Carbonite Plays say? I can't see that, so apologies. Oh, there it is. I was 2 when we won a European trophy last, he says. Yeah, Kulic saying, nice Schmeichel-style throw from Kinski. Yeah, loved it. Loved it. And Ryan Law says, oh, and there's a little, hold on, there's a little bit of beef between Tell and Konsa here. I didn't really see what happened. Ryan says, I remember being at primary school and going to White Lane when they had toilets built in the stands, lol. Crook says, Sarr not playing well. And Sonny is pushing Tell away, is trying to get involved with Konsa still. They're both a bit wound up here. Let's see what happened here. Yeah, it's still going on. The ref trying to deal with it. Reguilon getting involved. Brian Allen Marcus says, Barnaby, smile a bit, my brother. I've been smiling a lot. Tottenham putting a good performance tonight. Konsa is still chatting. The ref needs to book him. Reguilon getting all pumped up here. Good lad. Don't know what collateral Reguilon has to work with here based on the fact that he hasn't played a Premier League game in years. So this is what happens. Tell and Konsa, okay, very much of a muchness. And then Konsa throws Tell to the ground. Yeah, Tell had kind of done a little bit one of those before, but it didn't connect. But I don't think he was really going for it. Bobby Boy says, I like Dance. Always looks like he means business. I like him as well. And then Reguilon is trying to show the ref a little scratch he's got on his body. Oh, and that's from Anana being a prick. Why are they even... They're off the ball. What are they doing? Just idiots. Anyway, what Tottenham are doing here is what so many teams have done to Spurs this season, which is just like make it scrappy and bitty and horrible. Who would have thought you'd see this from an Ange Postecoglou team? Reguilon though, still just play Sergio. Anyway, Spurs try a long ball up, but Cash deals with it quite easy, and then lots of room in midfield here for I think it's Kamara to run into. He finds Asensio, tries the through ball, but big Kev Danso cuts it out. McGinn was nearly in there. 51 minutes gone. Thoroughly enjoying this. And here comes Bissouma for Sarr. Wow, that's interesting. Oh. I don't know what that means because Sarr has not played brilliantly. Has he got a little knock, Sarr? Oh, God, another injury for Spurs to another midfielder potentially. He's not hobbling, but he doesn't look comfortable, does he? What do you guys think? Do you think he might be injured here, Sarr? Doug Hill says, we made it scrappy at Brentford. That's true. Brian Allen Marcus says, nothing wrong with the squad. It's about the management. And Jack Legros says, Reguilon struggling with a scratch. I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Anyway, so Bissouma comes on. We cannot afford for Bissouma to get injured, especially if Sarr's just picked up a knock there. Another cross comes in, but Kinski. I love him in the air, Kinski. And Spence makes a run down the right. And there's a bit too much put on the ball, is there? Yeah. Pau Torres deals with it. Mikey Moore is still on this pitch. He's not really getting in the game, though, because they're basically making him play right back. It's bizarre. What a position that they've made Mikey Moore play in here. But anyway, Danto gets out to Davis. He plays it wide. Can he get Reguilon in here first time, Son? Son eventually puts Reguilon down the left. And Reguilon does well to keep it. Gives it back to Son. Son's up against two players here. He's going to try and win a corner, is he? Oh, in the end, it's not a bad cross, but Martinez claims it and then goes for the quick kick. Danto should get the first header on that. Just heads it well into the air. And then Gray heads it on. And actually a bit of time for Mikey Moore there. Good touch. Back to Gray. Moore was fouled from behind there. Well done, Mikey Moore. I like that because he was a little bit more central there, Mikey Moore. Not just attached to the touchline, either defensively or wide right. 53 minutes gone. Spurs get it out wide left now to Sonny. He wants to cut inside surely for a cross. Tries the double step over. Finds Reguilon who's going to try and get a cross into the back post, but there's literally no one on the back post. Comes all the way to Jed Spence though. Spurs putting their foot on the ball a little bit here. Maybe slightly gaining confidence here, Tottenham. Ben Davis on the ball. Gets out wide to Reggie. He's pressed. So he plays it wide to Son, who's up against Cash, who don't forget has been booked. But he's helped out by Camera. Gets it down the line to Odebear. Back to Son. Good little passage of play here from Spurs. Son turns away and goes all the way back to Reggie. Inside to Archie Gray. Still doesn't look really that comfortable on the ball. Everything sideways and backwards from Gray. But comes to Danso, to Spence. Good little run from Mikey Moore. Goes back to Spence. Danso now to Davis. This is Spurs' best passage of play for a while. Possibly all game. Out to Sonny again. Sonny fronting up Cash. Bissouma hasn't got on the ball yet. Oh, good ball from Son through to Tell. Can he keep it? He can and gives it back to Son. Might be tempted with a shot, but a bit too far out. So he lays it out to Spence, who's got Moore outside him. Goes first time to Mikey Moore. Now Mikey, he wanted to get across in there, but his touch wasn't perfect. So it comes back to Spence. And now it's Aston Villa in the deep formation. As again, Reguilon finds out wide, this time to Tell, driving at Matty Cash. He's good at getting early crosses in Tell, but he goes narrow to Son. Turns away. Goes back to Biss, who goes back to Reguilon. Spurs have kept the ball for ages here. Archie Gray. He tries a difficult ball, Archie Gray, to Mikey Moore. Not sure that was the best decision from Gray. But Moore shows some strength there and wins a throw-in. Brilliant from Mikey Moore. Showed a bit of 50-50 strength there. And Spence takes the throw-in to Gray. Under pressure here. Lays it back to Spence well. Danso shows him an option. Davis again. And he's got Reggie outside him. So Davis tries the first time ball out to Sonny. Does it go over his head? Yes, it does. But that was good football from Spurs. Lasted a few minutes. Yeah, the co-commentator saying how this is streets ahead from last weekend, which is an understatement. As again, John McGinn uses his big ass to roll Spence. Villa have the ball in the back line now with Pau Torres. Concert out wide right. Sonny, you've got to stop the cross here from Cash. Cash holds it up and will he try another left foot cross? No, he goes back to Camara. Villa just working it across their centre halves. Torres tried the ball in between, but Biss gets in the way and then plays the most Ibasuma-esque pass. And as a result, Villa are now attacking Spurs into the box now on the right with Asensio. Tries the right foot cross and it's blocked for a corner. Bissum's barely been on the ball, but the first time he gets on it, he just totally misjudges a pass. Villa fans trying to get behind their guys now. 57 minutes gone. It's going to be an in-swinging corner from Asensio. Here it is. Back stick. Tell clears it. Edge of the box to Odebear. Kicks it down the line. Can Tell keep this on? Tell has done brilliantly here, and he's trying to outpace Camara, but Camara got his body in the way. Tell had done the hard work there, you know. Anyway, all the way back with Martinez. If that had been Odebear, not Tell, I think he would have had the pace over Camara. Asensio with the big diag over the top. Spence has to deal with this. McGinn gets a touch on it. Then Mikey Moore tries to clear it. Spence was pushed there, but it's a great block from Dan. So the push on Spence was not given. Spence needed to be stronger there. Mikey Moore maybe needed to be stronger too. Yeah, Spence just not strong enough there. Another outswinger. Kinski again with a good starting position, about 5 yards off his line. Here it comes. I can't see it because they've bad directing. Oh, it's a goal. It was a deep cross to Cont. Oh, that's poor from Spurs, but what a surprise. That's a shame. Outswinging cross all the way to the back post, or way past the back post. Free header as ever. Back post not marked. Header back across the front. And I think it's flicked in from Conza, maybe, is it? And this is where Spurs are going to struggle. So it's McGinn this time, all the way to the back. Free header, and then no one marking Conza in the 6-yard box. Yeah. Cocom saying it's shambolic. I mean, you've got Odebear up against Watkins at the back post there. It's just nobody near Conza. It's actually Basuma the nearest Conza, and what a surprise. He doesn't get anywhere near him. So that's Aston Villa 1, Spurs 0. And I've been saying all game, haven't I? I think the true test will come if and when Spurs concede the first goal. Will they collapse like a deck of cards? I wouldn't be surprised. McGinn now. Oh. Villa go 4th in the table after that goal. Oh, Watkins! Great save, Kinski! Huge! Now, Watkins has gone down. I'm wondering if he's asking for a penalty. He got his shot away, but did he get taken down afterwards? I did say I could see Spurs collapsing like a deck of cards, and if this is a pen, it'll be 2-0. No, it's never a pen. It's just Ben Davis getting his body in the way. It's a brilliant save. Watkins was only like 11 yards out, and actually Davis did well as well. The Villa fans loving it at the moment. That can't be given as a pen. I think they're saying it would have been an own goal, actually, Ben Davis, because he got the last touch on it. Such a shame we conceded that goal. Let's see what you guys are saying about it. Yeah, Crook saying Basuma weak. Jack LeGros saying trust the process. Crook says back post again. FFS. Jack says also Premier League defeat, number 21 incoming, Levy's Tottenham. Doug Hill saying Villa 1-0 back post header. We would have thought that. I said frequently we were poor. Yeah, Basuma. I think, did the corner come from Basuma losing it on the halfway line with a bad pass as well? Oh, and Conta diving on the floor because he was tackled by Tell there, trying to get Tell booked. Oh, 2 Villa players are down. But they're both faking it. I think Tell was booked there. Let's have a look. I think he's trying to get his moment in on Conta, yeah. Epic 20 says, we won't win the Europa, not a chance without Kulu and Madders. Jack says, when you have a chairman so disinterested with the football club and such shocking recruitment, expect the massive decline a club has experienced. So sad that the fans have to experience this. I'm sorry, mate. I cannot agree with you that he's disinterested in the football club. It's just not true. Look at the amount of money we spent on transfer fees in the since 2019. It's the third most. Sure, the wages could be improved, but we need to spend more wages. But we just got rid of Lloris, Kane, and Dyer, and all, Perisic, all those players. So we're doing a new transfer strategy. He has spent. I'm sorry, but the stats show it. Just makes bad decisions. That's not making bad decisions. Is not being disinterested with the football club, in my opinion. Anyway, it's all subjective. You're allowed to have your own. You're allowed to think differently to me. That's for sure. 150 of you watching all at the same time, guys. Thanks so much. Please do press like if you haven't already. Spurs 1-0 down, but they put in a hardy performance so far tonight. Ironically, Sarr went off. Basuma came on. I wonder if they thought they'd get a little bit more of a foot in the game with Basuma in midfield. And since then, we've conceded. Kinski claims another good cross. Well done. He's been great. Throws it out quickly again. How was his throw? Let's have a look. Comes out to Sonny. Sonny comes narrow. Good stuff. Can he find Mikey Moore? Oh, Sonny! Could have found Mikey Moore there. Comes to Spence and eventually to Moore. Moore cuts inside. Forced backwards here, Mikey. To Archie Gray, and it comes all the way to Kinski. Puts his foot on it. Gives it simply to Basuma. Sorry, it was actually to Danso. Now passes it to Basuma. Basuma tries it's a good ball over the top to Mikey Moore. There's no one in the box yet. He's been pushed over there, Mikey Moore. Yeah. So what's happened there is Maatsen thought because Mikey Moore's a little less physical than him, he can just shoulder barge him off the ball. It's a ridiculous free kick to give away, and it's right on the edge of the box on the right-hand side. Put in a good delivery here, Spurs. Come on, this is a good opportunity. Tell is standing over it. Reguilon comes because he's a left footer. It's on the right-hand side. Come on, Spurs. Make this be hilarious. Spurs are a very small team tonight. So what they would do better to do is try and lay it to the edge of the box for someone to have a shot. It's Odebear on the edge. Reguilon's going to start it. Hits the wall. Comes to Tell. And his cross is blocked. It's a throw-in. Waste. Poor from Spurs. Very poor. Tell takes the throw in to Spence. And it comes back to Archie Gray. Just going to look to see what the United score is at the moment. 0-0. Bore off. But still in the first half. Good ball down the line into Tell. His first touch is okay. He's got to keep it in the corner there. Does really well. Finds Mikey Moore. He's coming inside on his left. He goes back to Spence. Was tempted to try an early cross, but he goes to Tell on the right. Oh, and then he tried a difficult ball. Comes back to him. Tell. Lovely touch from Matthias Tell. Oh, and then a horrible touch from Matthias Tell. And then Danso kicks it off for a goal kick. 66 minutes gone. Spurs haven't collapsed after that first goal, which is good. Great save from Kinski straight after it was important. I think Ange will be very positive about the team who's played tonight so far, if it stays like this. TikTok, who I am live on TikTok as well. You come and find me on TikTok, Barnaby Slater. TikTok just said, great job. You've gone live for 90 minutes. Don't forget to take a break. There's no break when you're watching Tottenham Hotspur. I think we can all say that without any doubt. So Tell just trying to nick the ball there. Shame we couldn't have kept it at 0-0 a bit longer. But anyway, comes to Pau Torres now. They've definitely been the better team, Villa, but Spurs have been pragmatic and defensive, and they've worked hard. Maatsen. Listen, if we can stay just one goal behind going into the last 10 minutes or so, that could put some pressure on Villa. Cash now down the right to Asensio. I will say this about Aston Villa and Unai Emery particularly. A lot of people talk about how the ball comes over behind Reguilon to Cash. Reguilon defends well, and that's a corner. A lot of people talk about how long it takes to change things at a football club. Not at Villa, it didn't. Emery came in and pretty much turned it round overnight. They were doing very badly under Steven Gerrard, very badly indeed. And Emery came in, and I think they changed the sporting director as well. Is it Monchi there, the ex-Sevilla guy? Is that his name? And McGinn's going to in-swing this corner. And so if Tottenham were to change their manager, it can happen quickly. Here comes the in-swinger. Bissouma gets up well there. Good lad. Not his style, but he did well at the front stick there. And they lay the ball out wide here to Ollie Watkins. He's got Tell up against him. Brings it onto his right foot. Goes back. Camera now. Comes narrow. And then a big attempted diag. Oh, very lucky. Flicked around by Torres. Oh, Reguilon dives in. Shot! Just wide from McGinn. He's a difficult player to deal with, McGinn. He shook off Reguilon's poor attempt at tackle and then tries to hit it. I think Kinski has that covered, to be honest. Oh, Spurs playing themselves into trouble. Why are they doing this? They haven't done this all game. They tried to play out from the back. Here we go. Shot blocked and then cleared by Reguilon. Oh, and then Odegaard, I thought, could have come to the ball there, and he didn't. Anyway, Villa have possession again. It feels like the first time Spurs have tried to play out and got themselves in trouble. Oh, now in a good position here in the box on the right-hand side, Villa. Asensio dinks out across. Spence does well at the back post. Mikey Moore tries to keep the ball, but he's dealt with easily by Maatsen, who gets his cross in. Bissouma clears it again. Edge of the box here. Matty Cash, no! Matty Cash wide. Don't want Matty Cash scoring. Yeah, he just never quite got out of his feet. But Mikey Moore did slide across to put pressure on him as well. 70 minutes gone. Villa 1, Spurs 0. Spurs looking like they're going to make another sub here. Please, no. He's bringing on Solanke, is he? Oh, God, no. Why? Why? Anyway, they're not on yet. Just don't risk it. Don't risk it. Bentancur and Solanke coming on. I'm not sure about this, Ange. What are you doing? I'm sure it'll give us a bit more control of the game, but is it worth it? I don't think so. Good tackle from Reguilon. Sonny brings the ball forward now. Got to give it, Sonny. No, he didn't give it, and he didn't take it, and he's fouled, but the ref doesn't give a foul. Then Bissouma does well. He's got to give it. 1-2. Nice. Bissouma. Oh, just takes it one step too far. Sonny gets a good foot in again. Sonny has played well, but just his kind of decision-making in terms of final ball passes, making the right decision has not quite been there. To be expected, I guess. Be interesting to see whether Sonny comes off with these subs. It's interesting that it doesn't look like Ange's bringing Richarlison on. Looks like it's Solanke and Bentancur. I wonder if Richarlison's got a knock or whether he just, because he's got, every time he comes back pretty much this season, he's got re-injured. I don't know. Remains to be seen, I guess. Pau Torres now playing the big diag out to Matty Cash. Oh no, sorry, it's Rodgers on the ball on the right. Cash now goes outside him. And there's a 1-2. Sonny hasn't gone with his man, but blocked off by Reguilon well. Comes to the left with Matson. Again, Mikey Moore having to put in doggy runs. They all have had to, basically, haven't they? Conser to Cash. Out wide. Rodgers fronting up Reguilon. Gives it back to Camara. Oh, he's on the edge of the box. Good chance. Goal. It's a good finish. Left foot, far corner. Struck it well. And now, especially if I'm Ange, don't bring on those players. What is the fucking point? Spurs just sat off. He got a lot of power on it, but frankly, Spurs just sat off and sat off and sat off and sat off, and eventually he's just into the box. Oh, Basuma goes away with the runner, and then Gray makes a half-hearted attempt. This has been what it's like in the Premier League, hasn't it, for a long time for Spurs? Just bad decision-making, and it's a good finish. No chance, Kinski. But he's 17 yards out. And so Solanke and Bentancur were about to come on. Emery loving that, as you'd expect. Relief, I guess, more than anything else. Has he now made those subs? And if so, that's his first Premier League goal. Or is he going to sit them down? I'd be tempted to sit them down here. No, he's brought them on. So off for Son and Reggie. Oh, John McGinn. No, they're at the byline here, Villa. Oh, and he takes it a step too far there, and Spence blocks it for a corner. Deary me. This could still be a couple of goals in this. McGinn with the corner again. You've got to assume they'll go to the back post. Oh, no, they go short to the front post, and McGinn is now free in the box. Big chance. Bends it far corner, just wide with his right foot. Again, Spurs just nowhere near any of the players in the box, and I guess they're pretty tired at this point. Let's see what you guys are saying after that second goal. Richard Salt says 5-0 looking good. Wouldn't surprise me at this point. Carbonite says this strikes me as an attempt by Ange to show he's still taking the league seriously somehow. No, I wouldn't say that at all. Simply A says that is stupid, Solanke and Bentancur. Jack Lugos says Barnaby wants to explode. No, I don't want to explode. That's all right. Simply Ace, a good point here, says the problem is the whole season we've been standing off the opposition. Nothing new. Completely agree. Yeah, and Delta Bar said just before Solanke and Bentancur came on, said not happy if he comes on. Hopefully a 2-goal deficit changes his mind. Jack, just going back to what we were talking about earlier, says how anyone can believe Daniel Levy cares about the football is delusional. He attends every game and witnesses the shambolic matches, but nothing changes. It's getting worse. Jack, I don't know if you were saying this before, but you have to surely agree with me that a big corner of the Spurs fan base for a long time have been talking about how he sacks managers too quickly. He doesn't give them the chance. Well, this time he's listened to the Spurs fan base who've been saying that, and he's stuck with Postecoglou. Now, you can argue whichever way you like as to whether that's the right decision or not. Oh, my God. Someone's gone down in the middle. from Odebear. It's Anana. You can argue whether that's the right thing or not, whether he's done it, but we are in a final. But I don't think you can have it both ways. I don't think we can say for a number of years, oh, he sacked Mourinho just before a final and he sacked Conte too early or he sacked Nuno too early. I don't know if anyone said that. But he's listened this time to that corner of the fan base and he's stuck with Ange and we're in a final. And so I don't think you can just say he nothing changes. He is changing. He's listening to the fan base. Maybe he's listening to the fan base too much. I don't know. Colin Watton says, I've said it last week, lose the final. Will the stadium be half empty? Don't sack him, make him stand there in humiliation. Don't even think about a lap of honour. Okay, I don't think that'll happen. Corleone would say, prefer Spurs would play really good defensively and really good attacking like Poch. I think it suits Spurs. Yeah, I think we'd all prefer that. Mikey Moore with a nice little touch. Oh, Odebear now driving at the Villa backline. Oh, and then it actually ends up being a good ball to Tell, but poor from Tell. Archie Gray helps him out, tries to dink out a cross, but it goes into Martinez's hands. Doug Hill says Conte sacked himself. I kind of agree with that, but a lot of people think that Levy sacked Conte. I think Conte, he'd had a bad year and he wanted out, but it was probably mutual in the end. Simply A says Ange is the most frustrating manager I've ever come across. That's such a shame. Tell was in a good position there. And that's a poor cross in the end from Gray. Carbonite says Conte had enough of the nonsense. Yeah, that's true. Listen, the truest thing that came out was when Pochettino said we need a painful rebuild. But unfortunately, at that time, we couldn't do a painful rebuild because we were building the stadium. And some people like to say, oh, we had the money for transfers during the stadium build. They said we did. They had to say we did, but we didn't. They had to say that we had money to spend on transfers because otherwise vultures would have come around and circled our best players. So he had to say that, but we didn't have the money during the stadium build. It's just a fact. And now, I hate to say it, but we are in the middle of the painful rebuild. But we have a chance to win a trophy. We have a chance, and that would be amazing. I don't care what anyone says. That would be incredible. Good ball into Slanky. Does well on the half turn. Gets out wide to Tell. Tell running at Cash. Can he find anyone? He's doubled off on now by Kamara. Probably waited a bit long. Villa deal with that quite well. I'm not saying we should stick with Ange at all, but I'm saying a lot of people, don't forget, Poch was having a bad run of form after he said painful rebuild needed. As Tell tries to beat Cash on the outside, but he's doubled up on there, Tell, and he dives on the floor in the end. He gets nothing because it deserves nothing. And Poch was right, and Poch should have been stuck with. But I will also say this: Poch was angling for other jobs as well. He wanted the Man United job. He was touting himself about a bit. So, listen, I'm just saying this because I think Poch should come back. I wonder where Spurs, if they do sack Ange, will go with a manager because it must be tempting for Levy to think about Poch after the World Cup in a season's time. Anyway, Jack says, Barnaby, sorry, keeping Ange was forced on him because of fan pressure regarding sacking managers every 18 months. Otherwise, why is he still there despite shocking results? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree. Corleone says, Barnaby, honestly, I was all Ange in until last week. I would love the Europa League and I strive for Ange to his project. If Ange could adapt his tactics to certain teams, we could be thriving. Oh, he is actually doing that today. Jack Logos says, Barnaby, spending money on poor signings is not good business. It's gone on for over 20 years. Listen, it is not Levy's job to choose the signings. That has never been his job. Maybe back in the day he did get too involved quite regularly, but he's taken steps back. That's why Munn is there. That's why Langer is there. Now it sounds like Munn is going to get the tic-tac. He's going to get the sack this summer. And maybe Paratici will come back. So it's not that he hasn't. He's tried to change things every time, hasn't he? He's tried different things. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Levy's great by any means. I'm not Levy in. I'm not really Levy out. But what I'm saying is you can't say Levy hasn't tried on the football side. He's tried everything. And when he sticks at something, we give him stick. And when he tries something different, we give him stick. As Mikey Moore tries to get a cross in. But it's cleared. And Camera comes away with the ball. So I think the reality is Tottenham have just been overtaken. Listen, the reality is Tottenham's Northumberland development project was put in the works. Kevin Dancer gets away with it, trying to Cruyff turn in his own half there. It was put into the starting of the Northumberland development project was 20 years ago from Spurs. That was the project to rebuild the stadium and rebuild the area. Now we're at the point at the end of that project. And a lot of you won't like to hear this, but the reality is Spurs are well ahead of where Levy would be at this stage. He thought at this stage, in the 5 years just after moving into the stadium, that would be the first time we'd start qualifying for Champions League. But because of Poch, we were 10 years, probably about 7 to 10 years ahead of the project. The other thing I will say, and I've said it before, so those of you who've heard me say this, I apologize before, but the reality is Arsenal, when they moved into their new stadium in 2006, they didn't spend big on transfer fees again. In fact, they were a selling club until 2013 when they bought Mesut Ozil. And even after that, they didn't go massive, by which I mean 75 million for Nicola Pepe, until 2018, 19. That was what? 12 years later? So Spurs are ahead of the game in terms of how other people have dealt with a stadium move. But this has been an appalling season. There's no doubt about that. No doubt whatsoever. Solanke does well holding the ball. It was totally on his own here, Solanke. Just don't stretch your hamstring, mate. So Jack says, Barnaby, Levy has overseen signings and always has the final say. That's wrong, mate. I'm sorry, that's wrong. Levy does not have the final say on the footballer. He has the final say on whether we're willing to spend an outrageous sum of money, yes. But he doesn't have the final say on the scouting. John Smith says, when did Arsenal finish 17th? That's true. They've never finished 17th. But they've always said, their fans, oh, well, we won a cup in Arteta's first season and trophies are everything. So if Spurs were to win a trophy, we would be able to say to them, it doesn't matter about 17th. We won a trophy and you didn't. Jack says, Levy said the new stadium was a game changer. What happened, Barnaby? Jack, are you listening to what I'm saying? I literally just told you we're well ahead of the game in terms of the stadium. Listen to what I said about Arsenal, how long it took them to spend money after the stadium, and we are spending money. I really appreciate you sending in your comments, mate. I really do. But listen, we're well ahead of the game of where it's difficult. We're the most in-debt club in the world in football. We've got over £1 billion of debt. And yeah, the interest rates are good and they've got a good deal for it. But it's not simple. It's not simple. Colin says, we are listening, but we don't agree. It's not about agreeing or disagreeing. I'm just saying it's not as simple as just saying, spend as much money as you can. Because look at Chelsea. They've spent £1 billion. It doesn't work like that. Anyway, I just think there's nuance to it that a lot of people choose not to see a lot of the time. You guys listen, I guess here will be the acid test, I guess. If we were to win on Wednesday night, win the Europa League, would Levy not be given any credit for that? You can't have it both ways. If he wins the Europa League, I'm afraid those people who are staunch Levy out. Listen, I'm happy for Levy to leave. If he leaves and we get a great chairman or great owner who's willing to spend money, and ideally, in my case, isn't a fucking human rights terror, then great. I agree. If you can't beat them, join them. But I don't want it to be Saudi Arabia or the United Arab Emirates. But if it happens and it's perfect, great. As Asensio gets in down the left here. Cross in, but well claimed by Kinski once again. He's had a good game, Kinski, I think. But I just worry. I don't know who the replacement for the owners for Levy would be. Yes, ideally it would be someone, a group of owners who are willing to put money into the club. Oh, Mikey Moore has gone down now. Oh, God. Moore goes down. Johnson and Richarlison on. Why? I don't know. Anyway, 2-0 still to Aston Villa. I think in the most part, it's been a good display from Spurs, considering it's been their B team. Certainly far better than the display at the weekend against Crystal Palace. So here come Rishi and Brennan Johnson. Only 5 minutes to go here, guys. Just so you know, after the game, I'll do a post-match reaction video, and then I will talk to some of you guys some more in the comments. Like I said, just to finish off that, I'm not Levy in. I don't think Levy's great. I think some of the decisions he's made optically have been absolutely appalling, especially the furloughing during the the lockdown, the Super League, plenty. I think he's been too involved down the years, sure. But I do think you've got to look at it as a whole as to where we were from the start. And we are a sustainable club who have never gone down. We've had a bad season this season, but we've never been in danger of going down. We've had a bad season, sure. But club we're playing tonight, Aston Villa, they've gone down a couple of times. Newcastle, they've gone down a couple of times. Sure, I'd like a new owner who's willing to spend their own money. But who is it? Who is it going to be? It's not simple. As Rishi wins a header in midfield. Cash goes backwards. It goes back to Martinez. You'd think Villa will see this out pretty comfortably now. Martinez plays a good ball down the left to Matson, I think it is. So I just, that's the thing. Until I find out who it's possible, Levy and Enoch, they might sell it to someone worse. They might sell it to a Mike Ashley. Probably not literally Mike Ashley, but someone who comes in like the Glazers, just constantly taking money out of the club. I'm sorry, but one thing you have to say about Levy and Enoch, they've never taken money out of the club, only in terms of their wages. And sure, Daniel Levy's wage packet isn't a great look either, kind of the most expensive, the most well-paid director in the Premier League. But he would probably argue, well, most of my time was taken up building the stadium. It's an incredible stadium. It's grown the club. I've grown the club exponentially. So there's an argument to both sides of everything. But yeah, I'd like a new owner if we can guarantee that it's someone that's going to be better and is not going to put us at risk. Because so many clubs have been at risk. Anana coming off for Ross Barkley, the lesser spotted Ross Barkley. This game has kind of petered out, to be fair, since the second goal, as you'd expect. Martinez has the ball at his feet. I doubt there'll be much added time either, you would have thought. Bentancur putting a shift in, and his press makes Villa hack it out. Spence throws it into Biss, who unnecessarily gives it back to him and then gets it back from him. And then gives it Big Kev Danso, who's had a good game, Big Kev Danso. Archie Gray has now gone to left back, by the way. Oof, and took a horrible touch there. Gives it down the line, and actually his horrible touch let the ball go off. He might be a bit tired from this season, Archie Gray. He's played a lot more games than you'd expect of an 18-year-old kid in the Premier League. And he just looks a little bit off the boil to me. Guys, I will say thank you so much for your support during this watch. I've really enjoyed it. Really appreciated all of your comments. I love having the debate with you guys. I love that we don't always agree. I really do. And yeah, stick around, guys, for more watch-alongs. Really enjoyed it. If you haven't pressed a like, if you haven't subscribed, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to the channel, guys. Daily Spurs content. There'll be daily transfer content during the window and more live watch-alongs as well coming your way. But like I said, I'll be doing an instant match review after this game, and then I'll get into the comments for a little bit as well. But like I said, really enjoy it. Like I said, it's good when you're down the pub with your mates, even if you support the same team, you don't agree on everything. That's how it should be. That is how it should be. And I don't think any less of anyone because they think Levy is a terrible chairman and should be out. But listen, I guess it's a little bit of my age, I think. We were in a horrible place when they took over, and we are now a bigger and better club with a better future as a result, in my opinion. But it doesn't mean we all agree. Villa playing some good stuff on the edge of the box here. Comes from Marlon. Bissouma, Danso does a half job clearing it. Comes to the right-hand side. We're past 90 minutes now. 6 minutes added. Don't know where that's come from. Cash. Asensio, I think, will get the player of the match today. Oh, chance for Barkley on the edge. Spurs kind of trying to tackle him. Richarlison pulling out of 50-50s left, right, and centre. Not a huge surprise. Aston Villa win the ball back again. Well, I said at the beginning, I can't be a hypocrite. I said I thought we'd get done 5 or 6 today, and we haven't. It looks like it's going to be 2 or maybe at the most 3. So you'd say that's, as good as it can be, but obviously not good that we've lost 21 games this season. Let me know in the comments how you feel about Ange saying, when Ange is asked, why have we lost so many games? He says, I don't need to spell it out for you, mate. It's obvious, isn't it? Well, is it? Is it obvious? Why is it? Is it because of the injuries? Because while Romero and Van der Ven and Solanke were out, he was saying, "Oh, it's because of the injuries." Then the injured players come back, and now he says, "Oh, it's because we've chosen to prioritize the Europa League," which he has done with Van der Ven. But shouldn't we have a squad good enough to not lose 21 games despite it? Spence clears first ball out to Tell, who's still on the pitch, and then Spence has Tell running down the line for him, and doesn't find him, and Pau Torres kicks it off. Pau Torres was on Spurs' list for a long time, but the boys from the Extra Inch were saying he wasn't kind of quick enough to deal with the Premier League. Well, I think he's proven that wrong. He's done really well. Archie Gray now at right back, with Spence has gone across the left back. Brennan Johnson gets what seems to be his first touch. Air shot on a rolling the foot over the ball, but Spurs get a throw. Bentancur on the ball, looking for options. Nothing coming. Also, let me know in the comments, guys, who you would pick for your midfield for that final. As the third midfielder, you've got to assume it's going to be Bentancur and Basuma, but who's going to be the third one? Torres tries to chip into midfield. So much space in midfield for Asensio. Plays it out wide to Bailey, who's running at Spence here. Bailey tries it in the outside. Spence defends brilliantly. That was the best bit of his game there today, Spence. Oh, Spurs running through the middle with Solanke. He's got Brennan outside him. Brennan running into the box. He's good from here. How's his cross? Poor. It was slightly blocked into Martinez's hands. You've got to think Johnson will start because of Kulusevski's injury. You've got to think that he will start on Wednesday night. Oh, bad ball. And Richarlison's got a chance to put Brennan in. Poor ball from Rishi, unfortunately. And Tell wanted it the other way as well. Nearly 150 likes today, guys. Thank you so much for your support. And we're now at 150 likes. Thanks so much. Brilliant stuff, guys. Really enjoyed doing this watch along for you. Even though Spurs have lost, we knew they were going to lose. We knew they had absolutely no chance tonight. Richarlison tries to kick someone there. I think it was, don't know who it was, the 6. Villa just trying to score one more goal. They're outside the box. They're going into 50-50s. So much harder than Spurs. What a surprise. Only 2 minutes left. Oh, he tries to bend one, but Danso clears it wide. Danso's annoyed at everyone else's defending, but he's played well tonight. I might give Danso my player of the match for Spurs tonight, Here comes an in-swinging corner. We did concede from one corner, but actually they take it short again. And then Cash plays a good ball. Richarlison gets a block on it, but there's a chance for a shot for Asensio outside the box. Here it comes. But easily into Kinski's hands. Another player who's played well, Kinski, tonight. No chance with either the goal. And he tries the early ball out to Tell. It goes off the pitch. Let's have a look. I think it's probably 0-0 at Stamford Bridge. It is just after half time there. And that means currently Chelsea in 6th, City 5th, Villa 4th in the Premier League. Spurs, of course, 17th, which one thing I will agree with Jack Lagros is absolutely unacceptable. Of course, it's unacceptable. I do not expect Ange Postecoglou to keep his job. That's for sure. Do let me know, though, guys, in the comments who you will have replacing. You would choose to replace Ange Postecoglou if and when he does lose his job at the end of the season. I've said it on a few watch-alongs this season. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we were to... Oh, Brennan Johnson pulled out of a 50-50 there, but nearly got the ball in their box. If Spurs did win the Europa League, wouldn't surprise me if Ange did the old mic drop and said, I resign, maybe even on the pitch. He's a very proud man. Spurs try to get in down the left-hand side, but this should be the end of the game, I would have thought, pretty soon. Villa just having one more attack. Ben Davis, they're in down the right here, but Kevin Danso gets in a good position again. And that's the end of the game. Okay, guys, this is my post-match reaction video to the Aston Villa 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0 Premier League game. I was expecting Tottenham to get blown away. When I saw the team selection to this game, I was expecting Spurs to get blown away. I was expecting another performance akin to the Crystal Palace defeat at home at the weekend, where Tottenham would just had rings run around them by the opposition. But I have to hold my hands up. I thought we were going to get done 5 or 6-0 tonight, and Spurs played in a different way. I'd say even more pragmatic than they've been playing in the knockout stages of the Europa League. They played 4-4-2 in defense, in a defensive situation. So whenever we didn't have the ball, and just made it incredibly tight and narrow and hard for Villa to get around us. Get around us, they eventually did, but it took till, I think, the 55th, maybe 60th minute for Villa to get their first goal. But Spurs put in a shift, and Ange Postecoglou picked a genuine reserve side, like a B team. There wasn't one player who started that game for Tottenham who you could guarantee will start the game on Wednesday night in the Europa League final. It looks very much like all the players, because Bentancur came on towards the end. Sonny had a good shift, maybe 70-odd, 75 minutes. Solanke came on at the end. It looks like they've all got through it unscathed. The only slight injury worry, Mikey Moore put in a good defensive shift tonight. Didn't really get much time on the ball. He does look physically a little short when it comes to playing regular Premier League games at this moment. But what would you expect? He's 17 years old, the boy. But he put in a great doggy shift. He was kind of playing most of the game. He was playing behind Jed Spence on the right-hand side. They were kind of fluidly swapping with each other, but in defensive roles. But Mikey Moore did go down towards the end of the game. Maybe it was just cramp. You've got to hope it was cramp. This is how much of a B team it was. Sergio Reguilon played tonight, put in a real shift, and didn't show himself to be a bad player. I guess that's what Ange is saying, is like, he's a decent enough player if you're just playing a kind of 4-4-2. But when you want to play Ange ball, he doesn't suit it. And maybe that's right. But does Ange ball even suit the Premier League, arguably? You'd have to say, based on the results, because this leaves us still very much in 17th place. You'd have to say the results say no. Like I said, I expected us to get done 5 or 6 tonight. It was only 2-0. Aston Villa, as you'd expect, playing their first team, just looked like the far stronger side. They had more possession. They had more chances. But we put in a pragmatic, hard-working, defensive performance. And in that first half, especially, in that first half, we had our chances. Son Heung-min started the game, and he showed some real pace. He showed some freshness. He had a few chances in behind Matty Cash, one that went just over the bar, kind of trademark Sonny cutting in on the left and trying to bend it into the far corner. Emi Martinez, proper full-length dive. He was not sure he was going to make that at all. And then a couple of times where Sonny got away from his defender and could have taken left-foot shots. In fact, I'd argue if Sonny was playing regularly and on top form, he would have opened that out. He would have, whilst he's running down the left channel into the box, he would have taken a step over on his right foot onto his left and hit it into the far right-hand corner. But he just looked a little bit too rusty for that. But he put in a good shift of 65, 70 minutes. And I have to say that has put some doubt into my mind. I was pretty sure before this game that I thought Richarlison would start on the left in the Europa League final, because he played in the 2 semi-final legs against Bodo Glimt. He caused trouble, and we were playing more direct style of play, and that suits him. But now I do wonder whether potentially Sonny might start. Let me know in the comments. Would you have Sonny start in the Europa League final on Wednesday night? How do you feel about it? Obviously, as Spurs fans, we are all racked with the memory of Harry Kane having not played for a month or two before the Champions League final, and Poch picking him and Kane not being in the game. The difference is this time, Sonny has got some minutes under his belt. He's not as sharpest, but he looks relatively sharp. And yeah, I mean, he's the captain. He is one of the few players in the team, especially with the injuries, who, if a big chance came to him in a big European final, you'd back him to score, because he's been there, he's seen it, he's done it at the top level, World Cups. He's scored hundreds of goals for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. So I think it really depends for me on how Ange is going to approach this. I've talked a little bit about how I expect that Europa League final to be a bit of a stodge fest. I think both teams will try and stodge it up, because this season, both teams have played at their worst against teams who play mid to low blocks, slow tempo, stodgy football. And therefore, I would not be surprised at all if Man United were hoping Tottenham have most of the possession, and Tottenham hope that Man United have most of the possession. In the knockout games in the Europa League, that's how Tottenham have played. They've let the teams that they're playing have the possession, and then they've gone direct. They've defended well. They've had their best back four with Van der Ven and Romero and Porro and Udogie. They defended well, and then they've broken from deep, either through direct balls and kind of playing off scraps off the likes of Richarlison and Solanke, or getting Udogie driving forward, Porro driving forward. So it'll be interesting to see, because I think if Ange wants to play that way in the final against Manchester United, then the way to do it is to keep Richarlison in the starting 11. I also do not hate the idea of Son being an option off the bench. It's going to be a tight game, I think. I really do. I really think it could be decided by a set-piece goal, or maybe even go to a penalty shootout. I could be completely wrong. A lot of the pundits are saying, oh, this will be a goal fest because Spurs have conceded so many goals this season. Man United are so poor. They've conceded so many goals this season. I'm not so sure. Not with Amorim's 3-5-2. Obviously, the Carabao Cup game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I think, finished, 5-3, 4-3 maybe? And so people will be hoping for that, but I would be very surprised. Maybe if an early goal goes in that final and the opposition have to really come out, maybe then that will lead to goals. But I don't think so. I think it'll be a tight stodge fest. And if it is, I would choose at this stage Richarlison to start in the left-sided forward role with Solanke on in central. And then I think most likely, because of the way he picked teams for those semi-finals, I think he'll start with Brennan Johnson, because he knows Brennan Johnson provides a goal threat. He doesn't provide a great deal else during the game, but he provides a goal threat. As for the central midfielders, let me know in the comments, who do you think will start as that third central midfielder? You've got to think it'll be Basuma, Bentancur, and one other. Pat Matassar played tonight. Did not pull up any trees. Obviously, he did what he always does. He got around the pitch. He's leggy. He's got an engine. Odebear was in the front three. Tell was obviously in the front three as well. Odebear, when he gets some space to drive into, he's got pace. He's a raw talent. He will be a great player, I think, Wilson Odebear. But for a European final, I hope that Mikey Moore might put in a performance that might try and persuade someone to pick him. But he looked like he came off injured at the end, and he didn't get in the game at all. So be really interesting to see what Ange does. Maybe he'll change the shape as he did tonight for that final. I don't know. Let me go through my team ratings after that game tonight. Starting with Kinski, I'm going to give Kinski a 7.5. His best game for Spurs since that debut he had at Liverpool. His starting position was excellent. He claimed everything that came his way. He made 2 unbelievable saves, and he kept some trouble away from his back four, coming for low crosses. And some good distribution as well. One magnificent long throw, Schmeichel-esque, to Odebear, which put Odebear in the second half. But unfortunately, his second touch didn't get him away from the defender. And that allowed the defender to get in there and get the ball back to the keeper. Spence, 5 out of 10 for me, poor. Reggie, 6 out of 10. Davis, 6.5 out of 10, did okay. Kev Danso, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. I thought Kevin Danso played well today. Interestingly, I said in my my match review of the game against Crystal Palace that I thought Danso could hold his head up high. But a lot of people on the podcast that I listen to, the Brilliant Podcast, The Extra Inch, The Tottenham Way, View from the Lane, Fighting Cock, for instance, they thought Danso was poor at the weekend, but I thought he was all right. So it just shows we don't all think the same things. Who knows? Archie Gray, 5 out of 10 again, maybe worse, 4.5. Not a good performance. Sarr, 5.5 out of 10 today. Moore, 5.5 out of 10. Wasn't in the game. 5.5 out of 10. He did a lot of defensive work, and he was asked to do that, but he didn't really get on the ball. Son, I'm going to give 6.5 out of 10. Odebear, 6 out of 10. Tell, 6.5 out of 10. In terms of those players coming on, Rishi came on too late to really do anything. So did Solanke. So did Brennan Johnson. Bentancur, yeah, probably the same. I can't really give them full scores because the game had basically gone. When Aston Villa scored the second goal, they just kind of collapsed the game. It was bitty. They didn't really make any chances. And Spurs didn't really make that many chances either. So that is the last game before Bilbao, the Europa League final. Listen, we've lost another game. It's 21. It's embarrassing. We know it is. And more than likely, we're going to lose against Brighton and make it 22 on the last day. But it doesn't matter because we're in the Europa League final right now. We've just got to turn our heads to that Europa League final. Hopefully no injuries between now and then. And Tottenham, under Ange Postecoglou, have to find a way. And I'm going to say this. I've said it before, but many of you won't have seen me say it. Ange Postecoglou has won things. He has. Sure, you may say, oh, it's only been in Scotland or Japan or Australia. But he has won things. He's won finals. Pochettino was a brilliant manager, but when we got to that Champions League final, he'd never won a final. Postecoglou has shown in the last 2 months in these knockout games that he is willing and able to change things shape-wise, style-wise, to win those games. We won away at Frankfurt. We won away at Bodo Glimt, where everyone was saying that's going to be difficult, including me. I thought for sure we would concede the first 2 goals away from home. I watched Bodo Glimt at home against Lazio. They tore them a new one. But Ange has shown, and the players have shown, that they have the desire and the motivation and the intensity in these games in the Europa League to do whatever it takes. And we need one more of those from them. That's what we need. One more of those against Manchester United. Do whatever it takes. Put your body on the line. Get on the end of everything. Set pieces. Everything. Don't try and play perfect football. Don't try and play it out. We've done better since we've been playing it long from the keeper. Down the channels. Play it direct. Off the likes of Solanke. His hold-up play is magnificent. Off the likes of Richarlison if he starts ahead of Son. Is there a way Richarlison starts left and Son starts right? Or Son starts left and Richarlison starts right? And that way you have both players playing. Maybe that's a possibility. Let's see what happens. But all of us need to be together. We need to forget about if you hate Daniel Levy, forget about it for the night. Forget about it for the week. If you hate Postecoglou and think he needs to leave, forget about it. We need to pull together, whether you're in your house in Britain or in your house or flat around the world, or if you're in a pub somewhere with Tottenham fans, or if you're in Bilbao, or if you're in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium watching it. We all need to be together. We need to be positive in the ether. And I do feel a positivity from Spurs fans towards this final. I really do. And we have to help it manifest itself into a Spurs victory, and it will be a tight game. It will be gnashing of teeth. It will be gnawing at fingernails. It will be difficult. It will be horrible, but we can do it. And I hope and think we will do it, but it's going to take a big push from everyone. So guys, thank you so much for watching this post-match review. Really appreciate it. Please do press like. Please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for daily Tottenham content. And you can become a member. Just £1 a month. All the details in the description box of how it really helps me make this content for you. Thank you so much. Cheers. All right, guys. Still going on the watch along. Appreciate you all sticking with me. Tottenham obviously lost 2-0 to Aston Villa. We all know that. It was a more enjoyable game than a lot of those Premier League games have been for Spurs for a long time. So, even though it was pragmatic, it was kind of one-dimensional. I thought Spurs put in a shift, and some of those players showed that they have a future at Tottenham Hotspur. I'm going to get into the comments. Simply A says, come on, Ange and the team, please deliver. We will be with you. Stephen Wilson disagrees with what I'm saying. Says Son and Rishi are both useless. I disagree. Deltabar says, Barnaby, you're going to the finals with your stepdad. I hope you make it and have a great time. It doesn't look like it at the moment. I haven't got a ticket or travel or accommodation. But if one of those things, if a ticket kind of falls into my lap at a cost, a price that I'm willing to pay, then I would then find a way to go. I'm pretty sure of that. Even if it involves sleeping on people's floors, or maybe not even sleeping, just like going out till all hours and then staying in the 24-hour McDonald's and eating till 6 a.m. or whatever. I will try and find a way. Nicole Rose, thank you, says another amazing stream. Really appreciate them. Kevin 40K says, we will fight them on the beaches. That's right. Winston Churchill. Let's try and manifest a bit of Winston Churchill. His good bits, not the racist bits. Not the bombing a French boat just because they didn't want to get it into the Germans' hands and killing loads of French sailors. Not that part. The more positive parts of Winston Churchill. Simply Ben Kent says, come on, you Spurs. We've got to manifest this. It's ours. Support and positivity. Believe it. That's it. Cooley says, come on, you Spurs. And that's the spirit, Barnaby. Kevin 40K says, Barnaby talking sense. Enrique Guardia says, Man United will be different. Who will tear the team and Ange a new one? I mean, maybe. Listen, Jamie Carragher says, doesn't he? There's no way that Tottenham can beat Manchester United in a European final. Well, I don't think Jamie Carragher or anyone else thought Newcastle would beat Liverpool in a Carabao Cup final when Newcastle hadn't won a trophy for 50 years either. But what Newcastle did was they turned up with physicality and they turned up with desire and intensity. And that's what Tottenham need to do in a disciplined way, sure, but they need to show that they're willing to be more physical, especially in midfield, than Manchester United. Show more legs and show more physicality. Epec 20 says, can't compare Bodo in the Europa to Liverpool in the Champions League. I wasn't comparing it. I was comparing what Spurs were like going into that game. Delta said, got a ticket to the screening at Stadium, already worrying it'll be a sad scene. This team isn't giving any reasons to be optimistic. Okay, well, let's see. Stephen Wilson says, tell a half out of 10. Kevin says, bring on Wednesday. Theodosis says, I don't know who you were talking about there, sorry. Scribble Scrabble says, Sonny is good on the left when we get long balls into that space. Stephen Wilson says, Odebear is appalling. I disagree. I think he's a raw talent. And Stephen again says, we need a whole new squad and manager. Colin wants us to play 3 at the back and 2 wing backs. It did not work at Everton away, mate. I watched that game and I thought we were absolutely appalling. Epec 20 says, if we had Madders and Kulu, I'd say we'd win, but I can't see us winning the final. Then Ange has to face the Premier League results, as do the Ange in fans. Like I said, I think it'll be a stodgy game, but I could be wrong. Kulid says, left field suggesting Rishi, Solanke and Johnson as a front 3. Sonny in the centre of midfield with Bentaker and Biss holding. So Sonny in the 8-10. I don't know. There were some rumours that he was being tried there in training this week, but he didn't really play there today. Tejas says, Sonner's number 10, Rishi left wing, Odebear right wing, Dom number 9. Maybe. Richard says this, can you imagine the atmosphere at the last game if we don't win Wednesday? Will Ange bother turning up? Yeah, it would be bad. It would be toxic. But let's not think about that. One thing you've got to say about Ange, and this is the last thing I'll say, because it's been a long old watch along and going to get back to my Friday night. But Ange, his messaging is brilliant. He is a motivational speaker par excellence. And he has been talking to those players all year about, you are the group who have a chance to do something special for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. And if that messaging has gone in, and I think from the knockout stage of this Europa League, it looks like it has. And if we don't get injuries to Van de Ven and Romero, don't forget about Romero. Romero has won a World Cup and 2 Copa Americas. He might start as captain if Sonny doesn't start. And even if he doesn't start as captain, if Sonny does start, I want Romero to be taking that game by the scruff of the neck. He hasn't lost a final. Can he maybe take it by the scruff of the neck and drag it over the line? Listen, guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all of your support. Really appreciate it. Really enjoyed the stream. Wherever you're watching the final on Wednesday, good luck to you. And if any of you are out in Bilbao and I find my way there, come up to me, say hello, let's chat. If I'm in England and I'm not too absolutely messed up if we win it, I will obviously do some content on the Thursday, if not after the game on Wednesday. But like I said, let's manifest it. Let's be positive. And let's hope this is the first major trophy, by which I mean a properly major trophy, that Spurs have won since 1991, the FA Cup. League Cup does count officially as a major domestic trophy, but this would be a European trophy. Our first properly major trophy and our first European trophy since 1984. And don't forget, we traditionally have been known as a cup team. I did a documentary this week about how Tottenham are a winning club. They've won loads of trophies. Go and watch that documentary. It's on my videos. It's all positivity. And this could be the turning point for Spurs. It could be the starting point. Let's all get behind it. Come on, you Spurs.